Welcome back, everybody, to the Call of Duty Mobile World Championship for 2024, where we are live from Atlanta, Georgia. As you get a nice little look there at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, which I've got a great view of from my room. I don't know about you guys, but it feels good to be here as we're preparing to get into our first match of the day. We appreciate you guys bearing with us as we're getting everything set up and our players ready to go to dive into all of the action. If you're just joining us here for the first time, first match up here on the main stage is going to be Gallerus versus Tribe, and that's what we are very excited to dive into here in just a few moments. We'll be doing that shortly. Before we get into it, though, we're going to continue talking about these teams here just a little bit because I want to get your guys' opinions. Obviously, not a lot of time in the Swiss stage of the competition here for our teams to really do anything with just a best of three. But in a situation here for Gallerus to come out on top, Alan, tell me where you're hoping maybe they're going to go in terms of their picks for these maps.
It's an interesting one. These guys have looked great on control, by the way. That's, I think, the biggest takeaway that I've had based on what they did in their region. Whereas everywhere else, Hardpoint, Search and Destroy, not, I won't say coin flip or like a roll of the dice, but it wasn't as convincing as I wanted to see in a region that I think we're all looking at as mid. So that's where I look at this Gallerus team and say, you have to be dominating your region if you want to have a chance to make moves here this weekend. I expect that they're going to want to try to get to more wide open maps to allow Lucas and to just AR dominate everybody.
And that's very one-for-one of what we actually got at Mobile Masters. I mean, let's not forget, yes, they did lose to Q9 0-4 in said grand finals, but they did beat them in the group stage 3-1.
Yep.
The only thing that they did lose, funnily enough, after we just got done gassing the control, was actually a crossroad strike control. No longer any
in the pool, yeah.
Exactly. But again, to your point, that is exactly got to be the operation of success when it comes down to Gallerus. You just got to get an open wide map, let Lucasine AR up and just cross everybody as they try.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, I think we do have their picks ready to go, so let's take a look at that, see what they did decide to go with here for this matchup, kicking things off on that Summit Hardpoint.
I'm not gonna lie, I thought this was not gonna make it through. I mean, for Tribe, they hadn't played it at all in stage 4. This, I think, is a kind of a moniker, though, again, towards the improvements and the progress that they've been trying to make since stage 4, where their hardpoint wasn't particularly great. Yeah. So it looks like they're trying to go to a little bit more of a mixier spot. I also think this is, again, to take Lucasen's impact a little bit further out of the picture because he's likely gonna be one of maybe 2 ARs in total. The other side of this, it puts more focus on players like Hen and Mihawk, who are really going to have to dominate. I expect to see Hen with an R9 in hand.
Yeah, it's going to be an R9 shotgun square up when it comes down to Summit. Your break attempt, also your holds, especially when it comes down to the multitude of money hills that you do have on Summit through the 4 hardpoint map. But I'd also like to throw out there that we should start a counter for the amount of firing range map 2s that we will end up seeing throughout the entirety of the tournament, stapled when it comes down to a map mode combination. And funnily enough, speaking of the entire map set that we do have here, when I was getting my morning Joe, I did run by the coach of Tribe, Hippo, told me that I'd be very judgmental about his picks and bans. I'm a fan of this. I like the Summit side.
Yeah, and the thing about this is you throw Hippo into the conversation, you look across all 3 maps and you know that his LG teams in the past, you know, teams he's coached in the past, have all been very good at these maps, so there definitely feels like there is some influence of him being added back into the mix in terms of the support staff that surrounds this Tribe team.
All right, well, now that we've got a little bit more information here added into the equation, it's time for me to ask the question that I know you guys love so much. It's time for predictions. Who do you think's taking this one home? We'll start with you.
I got Gallerus going 2-1. Funnily enough, I think that if there's one thing that they might end up losing would probably end up being the Search and Destroy, but I think when it comes down to respawns, they are so fundamentally sound that they might be able to take advantage of this Tribe team bright and early in the morning.
I'm not missing a prediction all weekend. 2-0 Tribe. Give me the boys from NA. I just feel like this team has done the work. I am not convinced by Gallerus. I know there's a lot of conversation about how this is the strongest opportunity for LATAM since the LATAM region really took us by storm back in 2022, but I still got Tribe 2-0.
I mean, that could still be true. They still can be the best shot for LATAM, and Tribe could still have improved enough to beat them. You know, they're not mutually exclusive here, but I like what we've got going on. Totally different predictions, although you are giving at least one map the way of Tribe, so this should be fun. I think this one's going to be an interesting one. Great way to kick off our matches here on the main stage, at least. And everybody at home, now that you kind of know how Shift and Proper are going to be going with their predictions, let us know your thoughts in chat as well. If you're hanging out with us, tell us who you think is going to be taking home match number 1 of the day. Do you think it's going to be Gallerus who gets that first win in that column, or will it be Tribe? Which team will start moving towards the ultimate goal of getting good seeding? Because match number 1 should be almost ready to go. Maybe that's what they're trying to tell me here. Let's get ready to dive into it.
I'm ready.
Yeah?
I'm
I
game.
want to get some COD.
Yeah, me too.
All right. I mean, let's go. We've got those flyovers getting ready here, guys. I'm gonna pass it off to you two.
All right. Sounds good. Hey, I think the thing is, this summit is a surprise. Like, I would have figured...
It really is.
I thought we were going to get an APOC or a Hacienda.
I was expecting an Apocalypse map one as well. We have so much in common besides our predictions. We're not going to see it eye to eye all weekend long, but when it comes down to map picks and bans, typically we do quite well for ourselves. But this one is definitely an interesting wrench into this best of 3. Again, not a whole lot of margin for error. A lot of these players are probably still getting some of the sleepy dust out of their eyes. But you better come prepared, because I like the point that you talked about when it comes down to like Mihawk and other players that need to be the tip of the spear when it comes down to breaking for Gallerus, because you know that Tribe will be playing very ahead for the rotation, and you know that they're going to be ready to square up with those R9s as well.
And I think the interesting thing about this Tribe team is we haven't really pointed to one player or another in particular, but can we talk about how good Band has been in the course of his career? And it feels like with this team, maybe with a more small set map pool, they very well may lean more on Band here on the weekend. Quick opening hit, though, from Head up and over through the side of the upper echelon of the PC position. That's good to at least keep things relatively contested, but Tribe Gaming still holding some good numbers.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the side of the map that Tribe is benefited to start off. They're going to have a really good opportunity just to try to work some of this high ground. Again, when it comes down to P1, you're mostly trying to fight for this top server position, where Band is at least able to find the first, but trades coming through galore, and is going to reside for Tribe on the final of the break for 25 to play.
Yeah, looking decent, at least for now. A little 50-50 split. Gallerus with Lucas in. The Odin in hand, able to find a couple, and that's the power of Lucas in. Taking the stage by storm to early, often, and very regularly just dominate the kill feed. So with that, an opportunity here for Gallerus to hold the numbers and look to start to make the rotation up top.
Split spawn's actually coming through for Tribe, and the other players for the P3 side just couldn't hold on as well. I mean, Gallerus from that previous break attempt are just absolutely flourishing in the mixed fest that is P1 currently. Good trades also come through. Will subside for the team in blue. Gallerus is holding very strong right now.
Yeah, but still, we expect this to be a 50-50 battle through the remaining time here at P2, which there is a lot. Band in the feed. Bravo also finding 2. Pred Missile trying to break this back open. That's good for a couple out of B-Hawk. So, again, we talked about players we wanted to see maybe step up for Gallerus. B-Hawk already providing. Hen as well as Envy's the last one. Left, and he's done well to take the high ground away from the top side of P2.
Still 35 seconds to play for. I mean, this is still a lot of time. You do not want to give up if you are Gallerus. That's why they still have players hanging around the joint. But Tribe, with all their numbers and the high ground in tow, should be able to at least secure the back 25. And you can see Gallerus starting to at least play for that rotation towards new. They don't want to be giving up these back spawns.
This is an important moment early for Tribe. You want to see this team grow. It's in moments like this. Still plenty of time to fight for over the old time, but most importantly, how do you deal with the early operators that are getting pulled out while you're trying to rotate? Perfect execution of the claw from Mihawk, able to catch himself 3. The shutdown is in, the scrap time goes to Tribe, but Gallerus will rotate and find success towards P3, although 2 players do spawn out.
Yeah, again, this is the big moment for Tribe. Do they realize this very, very quickly? They need to start flooding all the way through. Gallerus' response was just trying to turtle up into the backside of the west side of the mini-map, but I mean, Tribe just marched their way back in. A War Machine has to get pulled out by Patzera, just trying to keep them at a arm's reach.
Well, he's able to at least lock down the backside of the spawns. Tribe still trying to force some sort of a threat through mid, but it's being absolutely dismantled. Just a 5-point game. War Machine now expires. Tribe trying to find a way to set themselves up from the front, and they're going to use Envy's Claw, but it doesn't find any bounce. And how about Foki with the equalizers to respond? Absolutely beautifully done. 3 for him, and with that, Gallerus will hold on to the hill.
That's a Predator Missile for this rotation as well. Not exactly a hop, skip, and a jump, but actually pulls it out just to play for the back 20 seconds. I mean, the double kill is great, and then swings out with the equalizer. Talk about just throwing away utility that could be vital for the rotation over towards you, because Tribe, they're not too far gone. Washi's trying to at least make the back scrap time expensive for Gallerus, and that's just going to confirm that they have a very long way to rotate.
Yeah, they get the back half of the hard point with that Pred being called in. Tribe at least able to restrict the movement across snow over towards P4.
Yeah.
And now it's their time to start pulling out operators of their own. Washi, Annihilator out. R9 from the front door. A lot of that getting shut down, but a threat starts to develop for Gallerus through mid. Moment of pause, and Mihawk, where are we going, brother? It was just him by himself. Gets absolutely shut down by Vague, who only gets one with the Purifier, but the follow-up from Band will still lock down this front door.
You really do hope for all of the cash that was thrown into this for Tribe. All of the operators should end up turning into about full 60. The first 20 will be good. Now trailing by about 20 points to Gallerus, who are just knocking at the door, but you have no idea where all these players are located at, and once the gunfight starts, the trades should be more than favorable for Tribe, still holding the close spawns.
Yeah, really good P3 for Gallerus, beautiful P4 for Tribe. This has been a tug of war. Break attempts starting to come through response, though. Still decent for Tribe, and the trades will allow them to immediately re-break the hard point. Follow-up for this last 13. Largely going to be Gallerus just playing for map positioning, but a couple of players do kind of sneak out towards the end time of P4. They get punished, and now Tribe have a chance to try to rotate into P1.
Go back to the middle of the map. What was looking so grim for Tribe after that fantastic P3 out of Gallerus. It was a very good response for Tribe. Just keeps this game within 2. Fight for the high ground first, start getting some of those resources in tow. The only player that does have an operator available would end up being at least one for Tribe. So, Gallerus win the opening salvo. Tribe will end up spawning closer towards P3, but Gallerus just trying to hold on for all this time. This could be a big dent into this lead should they be able to maintain the time.
Yeah, really good Gravity Vortex gun also being spent here for Lucas. Just trying to make sure that some of these choke points are legitimately impassable. But now the follow-up off the spawns. How do you read this if you're Gallerus? So far, so good. Tribe gonna spawn back over towards P4. War Machine out, trying to win over the high ground, and then just spam down low wherever humanly possible. And with that, the shutdown will only allow a single kill to come through on the War Machine. But even with that told, Tribe Gaming can still contest. Numbers are here. Now it's just down to finding the last couple of Gallerus members.
And look at all the time that Gallerus were at least able to get off P1. The positional advantage that they once maintained has now been snuffed out by Tribe. Mihawk's going to be able to get 2 down, and there's the 3rd, 4th to follow through for Gallerus. So it was about to turn to be a very grim moment. Mihawk pulls out the claw, helps his team on the assistance for the initial rotation, but the hill still hasn't popped. Tribe still have numbers on the P2 side, and they're finding an abundance of kills, just trying to keep it scrappy, also accruing more time.
Yeah. Over towards the final moments, though. On rotation over towards B2. Gallerus winning over the high ground, but Raballo and company have actually snuck down low. That's enough for them to get right back into the hard point. Just dealing with a deficit of about 20 points. Spread Missile was also called in this action. Doesn't really find too much. Now we've got equalizers out for Gallerus, plus a Sparrow. That's shut down immediately. All you have to find now is Foki. Band over the flank. He's able to put together a couple. And with that, Tribe Gaming worked their way back into the hill.
Still spawning out though. Tribe have a lot more to do, but everything is coming up so much better for you as long as Band can stay alive. Has to favor the reload, but teammates are also there. They gave up his life, but Band really did need to find that double. Tribe are still spawning so far out, and they're not soaking up all the time required to make a dent into Gallerus' lead.
And I will say, for this Gallerus team, who have not particularly done well on this map in their region, they're really forcing Tribe Gaming into 1 point of entry.
Yeah.
They've locked down this bottom side of the map really nice. It's kind of an anchored up position, forcing Tribe to have to flush from the front over and over and over again. And now that we start to rotate to 3, that player bottom map moves into the hard point, and it starts off a very solid hold for Gallerus. Working on it is Tribe, but they cannot get through Lucas or Papzera.
War Machine also going to be invested here for Papzera. To your point there, you got to try to work your way past it. And they also have at least one player that is playing all the way to the backside of the ski lift. And that, again, is just a fundamentally sound team that we have seen out of the Gallerus. Washi trying to at least answer with Annihilator. Gets one, but then immediately killed off. But a lot of teammates to move forward.
Yeah, Band thought he had a route to try to hit her on the back, and surprised with the equalizers. That gets shut down. Envy trying to do what he can from the front. The rest of Tribe struggling to find any entry. Mihawk has played so well so far. Leads now up to 70 plus points. Still 14 seconds to fight for. And Tribe just trying to finesse the exit, or also being pushed around as their spawns move.
And you saw how desperate that was as well for Tribe. I mean, once they got a little bit further forward to breaking inside of P3, Envy got inside, pulls out the claw, and the only thing that you can have to speak for that was about 20 seconds. You're still trailing by 80. And now you gave Gallerus what they immediately wanted, not only the lead, but now they have the better spawns for what could potentially be the final hill.
Yeah, great macro movement on the map from Gallerus. Red Missile called in. Claw for Mihawk, shutting down the front. Decent eliminations for Tribe. Actually moves one of the spawners array. Now Band off the equalizers again, completely shut down. Just not giving the operator value that you would like to see. And now Tribe have to do it the old-fashioned way. Spawns are still chaotic on both sides, so every elimination is going to matter here.
Yeah, it is. And Tribe are forced just to always throw a body inside of the time. Gallerus just getting themselves closer and closer to that 250-point margin. It is a bloodbath inside of this small warehouse building, but Tribe find the breath of fresh air. They maintain the time.
Have to win out these last couple of fights. Spawns moving once again. Gallerus spawning behind the hill, at least for a couple of players. 100 killer drones starting to make their way through, and Tribe will clean things up nicely. Still alive, but so much work to be done, and it's going to have to come across two very 50-50 hard points as we rotate back into P1 with Gallerus looking and waiting for this hard point to open up.
Sparrow gets pulled out, immediately shut down for Gallerus. I mean, they don't have as much utility as they did in the previous P1 to hold on for all the time as they did, so it's going to have to be the old tried and true way. It's got to be the gunny. Gallerus have more positional advantage inside of the hard point as Lucasine is just ripping him to shreds.
You give this guy a single tap weapon, he's going to dominate. It's just the way it goes. Mihawk trying to set up some sort of a pinch, but not successful in the effort. Equalizers for Foki only finds one, so now it's really just down to what Hen can find, and he can find maybe everything. Doesn't get the final, but Foki back to the bench of the R9. He will try to clean things up. Not quite able to fully get things finished out, though, and now it's desperation mode for Tribe as they throw in a War Machine.
Yeah, War Machine just to be able to get the back handful of seconds, but also help yourself move a little bit forward. Late to read that the spawn out was going to be occurring, but you still have the operators in tow. Still finding a lot of damages. Robalo, but will be shut down. Gallerus forced to try to break through the old time, just to remove Tribe from the rotation.
Still so much work that has to be done for Tribe, although they have done well in this first hard point to get things back to more level terms. But you spent almost everything. Gallerus off their second surge here, able to find themselves a break over the scrap time. Only need another 18 seconds as we start to look over towards P2. Tribe, good eliminations. That's 3 in the feed for them. They're going to hold the numbers. If they can just read the last couple of Gallerus members, then they will. Claws out for Envy, but it doesn't really find the value as we rotate and open up P2.
The split spawn should have given Tribe every bit of information that they needed, spawning on the east and the west side of the map. The only place that Gallerus can potentially spawn is going to be the south side. Late to read it, Gallerus have rebroken.
Well, here we go. 242, 187. Shots coming through for Robalo. A good double, but is it enough? Here comes the final hit. Gallerus still holding in the corner. It's going to be contested for now. Tribe finding a couple of nice eliminations. Washi, Annihilator out. Good movement from Ban. Able to, again, find good elims onto Gallerus. That's now an opportunity for Tribe to dominate, but off the second set of spawns, here comes Gallerus again.
Still holding on to the spawns for the rotation. They just have to keep Tribe at bay. Even if you get the back 20 seconds, Gallerus just cannot skip. You cannot over-invest to try to break this hard point, but they do. They still are looking for the win here.
There's the nades over the top. Sparrow going to get called in. Only finds a single elimination. Mihawk with another double. He's been so good for his squad. The last contestant is through, but Mihawk has the final elim, and Gallerus will strike first. A decent comeback effort for Tribe, but not enough to get past the 100-plus point deficit.
A roar from the stage here in Georgia. Gallerus came to play in that map number 1. And yeah, give all the praise in the world to Mihawk. You highlighted it before we even loaded it into Summit. If it's not going to be a mat load combination that will allow Lucasine just to hold up in irons and still single tap his way to victory, which we did get to see some of that in close proximity, it needs to be your guy with the R9 shotgun. Mihawk was that guy.
Big time. Big time. And that's the thing is, like, you know, again, now we start to maybe have the conversation on the picks and bans, right?
Yeah.
Like, this is a map that has not notoriously been great for Gallerus, but again, that was months ago that they played stage 4.
Yeah.
You learn from those. Good rehearsal reps inside of good competitive opportunities are going to lead to growth, which we're going to see. On the other side of things, though, Tribe didn't play this at all in stage 4. Yeah, you get a new support staff behind you. You're trying to work it out, but
Sure.
The one thing that cost them this map is they beefed a rotation from 3 to 4, and that's the game right there.
Yeah, the one single misstep of overextension will definitely be the end when the game is that close in its final few moments. But, I mean, even as far as recency reps is concerned, we don't know what it looks like behind closed doors, but on paper, you would think with the players for Tribe, this should be a map mode combination that should just work for them. But it hasn't in the past, but I definitely appreciate the attempt of the gut check call to try to face off Gallerus on one of their weaker hardpoint maps, but it didn't work out at all. You played right into their hands. It was a slaying masterclass from all of Loud Amp.
Yeah, really good stuff. Okay, so a risk was taken by Tribe, does not work out for them. And at the top of the leaderboard, 51 and 25 from Lucasine.
Cash.
Stop it.
Double pause. Casual stuff.
Put a leash on. That's disgusting. With a minute 35 inside the hard point as well. Other side of things, no one even goes positive for Tribe game. Robalo tried as he would, 39 and 41, all over the map, but that's, again, the slaying efficiency for Tribe and Hardpoint not there on a small, tight map.
I think you also have to point out Mihawk's 21 assists as well, on top of the 41 and 35 scoreline. I mean, like, that is an egregious amount of assists, and you can just see just what it means for the rest of his team that are picking up a lot of these kills, a lot of the one-shots. It's exactly what you want out of Mihawk as a player, and you can just tell that Tribe were just not prepared for how oppressive it truly was.
Entry SMG presence.
Yes.
It's what we call true engagement success right there, either confirming a kill or providing an assist. And if you were to put those together, that's essentially 63 and 35 in terms of how he found.
Oh, quick mats on the main stage.
I did it once or twice. Ooh. Calculator was at the ready in case.
I thought you just hold shift, not a TI-83.
Sometimes it's a TI-83. Yep. Cosine and tangents not included. But again, that's a big misstep now for Tribe, because you start to look at that saying you put a risk into the mix, hadn't played that map before, doesn't work out. Now you go to a firing range search, and again, I think we can say every team's going to be fine seeing firing range search inside the pool.
As you should be, yeah.
But it does force them to have to go against Gallerus on their best mode, which is control if they were to win this matchup.
Correct. And when I go back to the predictions like we were talking about, in case anybody was wondering, on the one map that I projected for Gallerus to potentially lose, it was going to be the Search and Destroy, even through the Latin America region. Search and Destroy, funnily enough, was actually their weakest game mode. And you feel like that for a team that does so well fundamentally when it comes down to the respawns, that Search and Destroy should be a very tangible transition, but it just hasn't been in their own region. However, there are some unknown quantities, especially when it comes down to what they look like going back into Mobile Masters, all the preparation leading themselves for these international teams. I think that Tribe might have a better chance potentially when it comes down to the Search and Destroy. It's all just a guessing game when it comes down to it. It just mostly comes down to what the team's playbooks look like to adapt and prepare for this firing range map too.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that, when we see maps like this, and if we see maps, I don't think we're going to see much of it, but if we see maps like Takeoff and Kurohana, snipers.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest, like, that's what dominated all of the other regions besides China last time around. I mean, Neon was unbelievable, was not missing, and we're going to see that, I think, time and time again when we get Chinese teams on the main stage. The other part about that, if we were to kind of talk about recent results, you look back to CDSI, where Elevate were able to defeat some Chinese teams in Search in a mode that they did not have very strongly put together throughout the group stage. They were sniping better. I feel like that is so much of what this game mode has turned into. Maybe firing range is the only one where you look at and say, yeah, its presence will be felt, but it's not going to dictate and dominate, because you can avoid it. It's smokable, it's avoidable. You don't have to take these battles flat out.
And you know where the crosses are going to be. You've been playing firing range for many different millennia as well. Typically, when it comes down to firing range, you do need to have almost a highlight level performance to have a lot of clutching situation. But when we think about firing range, what is the biggest turn? The first blood might be good, but if you still get an R9 shotgun inside a 10, offense or defense alike, it can still be a certain problem. The options will always end up being there. What I'm most interested in is to be able to see what teams look like after that first 50 seconds. What is the adaptation going to be called? Obviously, who's still alive on the map and what tools you have at your disposal. But we saw this, and we were pretty harsh last Worlds when we had this exact situation on teams in Search and Destroy, that they kind of just forget where they are when there is 40 seconds left on the actual game clock. So I'm definitely excited to be able to see this matchup in particular, especially when we talk about Tribe's new back of house for Hippo coming in to be able to help them work out some of the different ruffles in their feathers when it comes down to Search and Destroy as a whole.
Yeah, there are other elements in terms of this Tribe team. You look at the roster on paper, again, I think a Band, for my money, is, the one player that I would say needs to be kind of the leader in terms of how this team looks, whether it be by tempo, by pace, or just by overall strat calling. The other side of it, though, and I think Bobby and the boys were talking about this a little bit on the Spawn last night, Vake did not have a great Worlds last year. And that's a player that, if he shows up, he's a difference maker.
Correct.
So that's another one that you look at and say, okay, you label out two players that are likely going to play more aggressively. Do you pull out what I like to call the shark route? You smoke off the middle of the map and run your SMGs down mid. You don't let those snipers get comfortable. That could be an option here for Tribe strategically.
This surely should be an option, you would think, should they start to feel a little bit more oppressed when it comes down to those opening duels. But Search and Destroy, if you're new here, obviously first to 7 do have to win by 2, and overtime might just be on the docket with how close these two teams should be, at least on paper. The hard point, obviously, going over towards Gallerus. The gamble did not work out for Tribe. They need this bounce back here. What a storyline it would be for Tribe to start off their entire Worlds in a Swiss stage 0-1.
Yeah, and just to kind of extend the conversation here for all of you giant COD Mobile nerds that are watching this early, when we get to Control, we're going to see a lot of raid this weekend.
Correct.
Just due to the fact that Arsenal has been interesting, I think, in terms of teams learning it, and then Seaside has been dominated by spawn trapping.
Yeah.
So I think that's your best option in terms of finding even foot ground in terms of, oh, we're not going to get snowballed. I think we're going to see a lot of that, and that's where you look at a team like Gallerus, a team that dominated the region on that map. That could be dangerous, but again, it's another one like Fire and Search and Destroy that I think no team will be like, oh shoot, it's raid control. Like everyone's going to be fine seeing that, I think, for the map 3 throughout the weekend.
And we're going to be seeing a lot of firing range and a lot of raid, especially with the spawn traps, to Alan's point. When it comes down to Arsenal and Seaside, it's very fun. Let's just say it's very fun for me watching, but it's going to be one of those things again for Tribe is that if the respawns, if the slaying is not there, kind of roping the entire conversation of Vague trying to get his swagger back as well, that you feel like that the transition should be into more of a methodical game mode when you do have the objectives in play. And again, there's unknown data that we don't have. What these guys have looked like in scrims, have they been cooking it up in Search and Destroy and Control? You surely do hope so if you're an NA fan and Tribe as they attempt to try to even up this best of 3.
Well, keep your eye on Washi. Look at this, getting some aggression out of the side of Tribe Gaming early. We'll get that banner at the top fixed for you. As this will be Gallerus on the offense, putting some pressure over toward B. Trophy systems are down, though. That's enough for Raballo to move on over. DRH ready to watch the front closet, and with him is number 3 in Envy, who is actually just taking a hard scope angle over towards Tire side.
And Pabzera has just been playing inside of the showers, has not seen a soul. But that comes with certain complications. You're just trying to play for the information, but it will be Mihawk to be able to find that first.
Yeah, it's not what you want. And now that's going to force the defense to have to stack over towards B, leaving a wide open numbers advantage and map advantage. Starting to move his way towards Gallerus. A rotation quickly back over. The Washi's here, playing on the other side. Flash will come through. That pushes him off the angle. Smoke is also down. And Hen will just get to work kind of spamming things out, and this should lead to a bomb plant.
Yeah, it's like Washi was just a little bit too late to be in the position to watch as everybody was crossing over by the training dummies. Bomb will be planted. Can Pokey get out with his life?
Gets into trailer, more importantly. That makes this post plant super dynamic because you still have Mihawk holding over towards Wood. So a lot to figure out. Band may have seen Hen in the corner, doesn't get the catch of him too soon, and Hen turns that into a double. So now it's just down to what the snipers can hit, and Envy and Washi, they're hidden, baby. Now it's just down to the 1v1. Mihawk on Envy. Mihawk with the advantage. Time starting to tick away. Envy trying to get some spam, not gonna connect, tries to hop. Mihawk with the pop over. Oh, the hit marker from Envy, who nearly clutches it up.
I don't know if there was going to be enough time, but that would have been supreme to be able to see on the main stage in our first Search and Destroy here at Worlds 2024. A 1v1 potential for a clutch. Not meant to be. Again, that first blood that was able to be found over by inside a closet just open up the floodgates for a very weak hold over by it.
Lots of nade focus for both teams right through middle. This is a smoke push in towards trailer. Quick action. Gallerus on the offense gets them some control over towards A. Follow-up nades from the defense being spent early here, seeing if maybe they can find some damage over the top, but with this stack inside a trailer, Gallerus are happy just to sit here, let the defensive nades expire, and then just play their numbers situation around A from there on out.
Just about everything's covered. Again, with the trailer position, you have one that is lurking all the way back. That's Pabzera that's playing for a cross that's about to come through Banana. Might have a 1v1 versus Envy should he commit towards that route. Won't. But Gallerus is still in a firm control around this A-bomb site.
This LMG is starting to chew through trailer, though. So Band has done a little bit of tallying with a couple of hit markers. Has to take 5 minutes to reload. And then we'll get back to work again. And this has been very static for Gallerus, who eventually get this bomb planted. There was a smoke in hand at one point, though. Tried to use that as a retake.
And that's going to be the call for Envy to start pushing all the way up Banana. But Pabzera has just been playing for it from yesterday.
Yeah. The smoke looks like it's going to be queued up to go backside trailer as well. There it is. Smoke is out. And it is thrown over towards the backside. This is all about can they clear out the shotguns and SMGs inside the trailer. Here comes the action. First shots are decent. Band following up, so only able to find a couple. You still got to clear out trailer. Down to Raballo to try to get through. Not going to work out as Lucas finds a couple. Pabzera over the top. Trying to make sure the defuse stays away, but the re-clear is great. Plenty of time for the defuse, and Tribe Gaming will tie us up at 1.
And you saw the immediate call. Once Envy started getting shot in the back by Pabzera, who again was holding the very long flank coming all the way through from Banana, that it did pull 2 different players for Gallerus off of that post-plant situation. It kind of dispersed them, and then their post-plant wasn't exactly as robust as they were hoping, worried about where an Envy's timing was coming all the way through. Big strike back coming through for Tribe as we're evened up.
Yeah. love the fact that they also had that retake smoke still in hand after all of the early nades came up a bit empty. Quick action again for Gallerus. Pabzera misses an opportunity as the scope just gets dropped right as soon as a cross was in play for Tribe. Defensive nades being thrown once again, but it's not in time to stop the plant. Quick 5v5 post plant for Gallerus.
Look at the spread on the map as well. Player all the way back in showers. You have an immediate aggression that's actually coming through from Banana, and Envy just wasn't ready for it. That's a big kill to have.
Yeah, now Pabzera can just watch the cross. Pardon me? Hello? Through the smoke? Just, you know, you miss every shot you don't take. Band gets trailer control, but who cares? Gallerus are fully set up deep. Yeah, the MG can chip through some of this, but time is becoming a bit of an issue, and there's no positioning for him to work with either. So Gallerus, quick action, but changing up the post-plant position works out nicely.
Again, LMG is great for information, but once you're in a clutch scenario, once you spam through 100 bullets and you have to pause the game just to reload, it's not exactly the clutch weapon that you would like to have. So Gallerus playing that mental 4D chess. It's been aggression ever since they were very passive on their opening round. This time it looks like a little bit more Banana control. A lot of nades ceremoniously being thrown over here.
Now this is not unfamiliar though, because Gallerus showed this same effort in round 1 of their offense. Trophies and focused nades towards B, but the sniper's still watching through mid, trying to catch the crossers defensively. And that is good enough for first blood. Vague has to play on top of the site, and at a certain moment, Envy's gonna have to make a decision. Does he stay here or does he rotate? Because this one really dimensional angle, it doesn't feel great. You just have so much vacancy on the map right now if you're Tribe's defense.
And you can see that Gallerus are currently gobbling that up. Not only do they have a player advantage, but they're also thinking about just delay hitting over towards trailer, but there's a lack of information in there. Unbeknownst to them, there is a player lurking. It's gonna be Roballo.
Gotta hit this.
And they love the call just to go all the way back. Have they got the timing right?
Gotta hit this. It's a stack up! Envy able to get the collab for 2. That slows down the offense for a moment. Vague, next one up. Trying to find himself a position, backside tires. Folky with the R9, getting cold feet around B. 48 seconds on the clock. We're gonna stay 3v3.
And Washi just doesn't have to move. I mean, this top trailer position is just so good to be able to get information, to be able to watch the cross. We're down to 38 seconds, and Gallerus need to make a decision.
Yep. That little bit of intel over towards top wood, plus this follow-up nade. Kobe? Oh. Not gonna happen! Lucasen on the other side. Takes down Washi top 10. Now the defense stretched really thin. Roballo, what do you have to offer? Sees the nades coming out of trailer. Doesn't hit a bullet. Doesn't even come close. So now it's just down to Vague. Rotating it with the MG42. Up and over. Double stack off the box. Folky looking for the plant as time is starting to fade away on the offense, and now it gets extended, putting more focus towards what Vague can do here from inside trailer.
Has to reload. Up to 125 bullets we go. Kenny Clutch, still a player playing in the head glitch bomb itself. It will be Folky, R9 shotgun in hand, and any damage will be good enough just to force him into Lucasen's sights. Wonderfully played out there from Galaxy. I was worried about the time, and I was worried about Washi's position. I thought the nade was going to connect, but a great isolation coming through there from Lucasen. So of course it is. Very accurate guy.
Yep.
7 kills.
Yep. Not bad. I've seen worse.
I've seen worse, yeah.
Oh, look at this. Opening stack of nades over towards A. Already pulling the focus of Tribe away. Envy, good focus on the other side, though. Turns that into a single kill. Vague, shotgun in hand. That's good for 1. Trying to step into the closet, but Lucasen says not so fast. Envy, now from backside tires. Doesn't hit the quick scope, but does keep his life. And that's enough to really make this offense of Gallerus could reconsider the reproach.
It's a 3v2. You just don't scam, don't overheat here if you are Envy. Because you do have the cross at least through the middle of the map. Everybody's just lurking for this one cross, but the A-bomb site is relatively vacated. I mean, Roballo does hold the cross should they start to move out from wood, but you can see what that immediately means, especially for Envy, putting himself back inside of American, gets the cross. Look at Pabzera, but loses his life. Can't overheat, do not scam. Plenty of time left to play here in the 2v2.
It's the fact that you get the intel and you're giving up the angle by playing a jump.
Yeah, you don't need that kill.
America, you don't need it. Bomb is still down, though, so there's still an advantage here for Tribe, but with Lucasen and Pabzera, the longtime duo still alive, with a sniper and a long-range AR, you just don't have to peek. See what happens. Here comes the next move for Gallerus, trying to make their way up towards mid. Roballo is the intended target. DRH in hand for him, just trying to keep himself tucked down to 28 seconds.
That's getting spooky. Hearing some footsteps.
hoping for the timing as well, and just catches Ban lacking. This 2v3 has been an absolute fumble. Papzera will hear that Raballo just shot to his left. The isolation comes through, is able to at least find one. But we're not playing for the bomb. There's 10 seconds remain, and now Lucasine has to try to move his way over towards the B-bomb site. Can he get the plant? Raballo aware of the time and simply does not. What a clown fiesta of a round that should have been Tribes in the first place.
I could give some excuse, I think, to the long-range peek out of the sniper rifle. The double peek was aggressive and egregious, but at the same rate, Galler's knew Raballo were in 10.
Yeah.
Just didn't hit it together. So he's able to isolate, find one, and then all of a sudden, the time, like you mentioned, becomes a bit of an issue. As now, all of a sudden, we got that same smoke presence that we've seen from Galler's before. This is when they hit 10, or pardon me, not 10, over towards trailer. Not the case this time. Instead, as the smoke dissipates, it's Hen who's trying to push through barrel, and how would you ever expect this? The answer is you wouldn't, but there's a decent trade.
Hey, he's always there. You know Washi's always going to be inside of American. That is a very simplistic rollout, but the trades are that much better for Gallerus. A wonderful play coming through from Hen up through the gut, gets his 8th kill. And now the lay of the land here for Gallerus as they lay the rock down today.
Yeah, should be good for a 4th round here. Difficult retake in this 4v2, especially with not a lot of ground available, plus so much more that they would have to find a way to reclaim. So, I believe that was Lucas with the last 2 eliminations as we swapped the sides through 6-4-2 on the first half.
It's a pretty good half. I mean, you just look at the kills, combined 18 in between Lucas and Hen.
They have the bomb.
We keep on talking about it. I'm going to keep asking for it, Tribe. We got to see something here.
Yeah. Early trophy systems denying the defensive nades over towards the backside B jungle. Papzera playing aggressively over the top of A. Wants the 1v1. Has to at least respect the ammo count, though, down to 2 shots. Plays backside over towards barrel. He's got help very close nearby. That's in the form of Lucasin, who's also sniping with him here. So both scopes going to be playing over towards the bottom side towards A.
There's information that has been traded in mutual on both sides of the map, so I do really appreciate Foki's positioning. Just expecting maybe try to catch a player flooding out from wood, getting inside a trailer. Papzera just continues to go for these jump peaks. Any sort of information would be good, as you can hear a pin drop on firing range.
Yeah, and I do like this setup for Gallerus. You've got one sniper watching the mid-cross, the other just making sure they hard scope over towards the backside of the obstacle course behind the trailer, and then you've got a forward position for Foki, who's got an R9 by sandbags.
Yep.
And then there's a crossfire setup off contact with Hen on the long-range AR and another R9 in the hand of Mihawk. So this is all about just playing contact right here for Gallerus, and Tribe, who don't have many nades left, are going to have to commit to this.
Wonder when Washi's going to start to become activated. He's player number 5 in blue on the minimap. Waiting for any sort of that contact to come through. Might be a push, but Hen's playing the head glitch, gets through the first, and is still relatively full HP, and has assistance nearby.
I just remember this moment right now, because we'll break it down in a second.
Yeah.
Lucas in, 1v1, other side of the map. Whoa, boy, this is messy from Tribe. Raballo, the only one to find an elimination. But the thing about this for Tribe is, like, if we're sitting here waiting for a late game or late round execute, we don't have any nades left. We spent them all already. So you're telling me you're going to go into a pre-designed setup with no nades, no flashes, no smokes? This is what happens.
1v2, not even enough time to potentially have the thought. Up to 5 now is Gallerus, and yes, I mean, just to go back to the simple point, you just cannot rely on any sort of overextension for you to be able to have a very easy round. Gallerus has not offered you that, even when they were on offense.
No, and again, like, we can't just be solely using our utility in the first 30 seconds, hoping for a first blood. Like, you have to use utility to displace these defensive positions. Once again, about 9 nades thrown towards bottom side at A. This time it does allow Washi to get the angle onto Papzera. That connects. Looking for some tippy-tappies through the trailer as Raballo not quite able to connect, so there is still a chance here for Foki to keep his life in trailer, but he needs help.
Needs it sooner rather than later. Crosses should be at least held. Gallerus aware of that for the players trying to work their way up through mid. If you can get wood control, this would actually be big.
But Envy already connects down the middle of the map, and this is taking a lot of time, but may catch one completely unawares, so they know that there's another. The player in question is Washi. Nice shots from Hen. Here comes the retake around the back. Mihawk trying to lead the charge and finds another. Now it's just down to the final 15 seconds. What are we watching? Hello? Tribe Gaming get completely dismantled. They have the clock in their favor. They know where the hit's coming from, and they still don't find a single kill. Oh, no.
Lost that round, but it's not over yet.
It's such a massive numbers advantage that they had even in a post-plant situation. You should have expected somebody to be inside a trailer. You just had to try to find the trade on the Hen because he just ran through you. 12 eliminations now for Hen. Up to map and series point here for Gallerus. Tribe just deflated live.
Not good news. Moment of pause here once again for Tribe's offense. Not the same thing as Hen. Heat check. What's going on over here? Hen's just teeing off. 2 for Hen. 4 in the way as Hen's just absolutely taken over. Unbelievable, and Tribe Gaming can't hold a candle here in the firing range surge.
They trying to utilize the prize fighters. Papsera just running at him, and it will be Mihawk that gets the final elimination. 15 kills for Hen, and they are letting them know across the stage, LatAm is here to play. Actually, a little bit of Vamos at 11 a.m. here Eastern.
I mean, that is just ego chow for me.
Yeah.
There wasn't nades to support that. It was just, I'm running. Let me see what I can get. These guys are playing scared.
Yeah.
And he punished.
I mean, look at the confidence on that man's face. All the way to the back on the left is Hen. But again, when you offer such one-dimensional search and destroy, a team that has been playing together all year long, that has found success in this very year, will absolutely just rip you to smithereens. It's exactly what Gallerus just had.
This is the same thing we kind of saw in Stage 4 from their Search and Destroy, which was not great versus the other 2 teams in North America that had beat them every time they played. It's like we're hoping and praying that this utility in the first 30 seconds is going to provide a first blood.
Yeah.
We don't have anything on these, these either executes or retakes. The executes in particular, in the last 30 seconds, we're just running in, hoping we win these gunfights 5v5 against the head glitches and power positions, and it's not the Tribe that we came to know and for some of us love back in 3.2.
And you'll see the star comparison as well, especially through these highlights. The recap will be very, very apparent. The late nades coming through continuously. There was always at least 2, whether it's a smoke or a frag grenade, backed up for Gallerus in a post-plant situation. We cannot stress it. It should be very upset about this entire situation isn't enough for you. I implore you to understand fully how important it is to have late utility in a post-plant.
Yeah, and on the other side, just to give some praise where praise is due, Gallerus made 1 mistake, and it wasn't double challenge Bravalo when they beat him 10. And it was a 2v3, by the way, that they still almost pulled off.
Yeah.
So it's one of those situations that you have to come away, I think, impressed with what Gallerus has put together here, and I would say relatively upset about the Tribe just not finding the success that you would have hoped for from back in Stage 4 to here. I mean, at the other front, you've got to combine 27 and 8 just between Lucas and Hen. They could have 2v5'd this at certain moments.
And look at the assists. Again, how many times that we were talking that Tribe were super isolated from each other, but how much team fighting Gallerus was having for themselves. It was a continuation from the map 1 into the map 2.
Not great news here in terms of how things have started for Tribe. They take a gamble on the summit. That doesn't work out. The firing range, like you said, is going to be very common this weekend. Doesn't look particularly polished. Bad news early for Tribe as Gallerus just walked their way to a very clean 2-0. And with that, they move into the 1-0 bracket of the Swiss stage as we move forward. With that, we've got F-Dot on the main stage, ready to go with Lucasen, who's already representing Brazil with the flag draped around his shoulders.
That's right, I'm hanging out here with Lucasen, and of course our friend Jordan is going to help us chat the victor. You guys came through, and Tribe is a big name, but it seemed like you didn't care. Was there any pressure going up against Tribe as your first team?
Bom, eu gostaria de parabenizar você e o adversário de vocês era o Tribe, que era grandíssimo time, mas parecia que vocês não se importaram com isso. Como é que foi a partida?
Olha, a partida foi muito dura, a gente já esperava quando foi divulgado os confrontos, a gente imaginou que seria um jogo duro, né? Qualquer campeonato, qualquer jogo que a gente tivesse nesse campeonato seria muito difícil, porque com certeza é o evento mais difícil que tem, todos os anos. E a gente se preparou muito bem para o jogo deles, a gente conheceu algumas coisas, algumas manias, alguns costumes, e a gente veio pronto para isso.
So, Tribe is a team that we respect a lot. We're great, but since we want to win this championship, it doesn't matter who you have to face it. And we are prepared, we studied them a lot, and let's go.
So that was about them. Now I want to talk about you, Lucas. You take a lot of the spotlight of the team, but who in your mind on your squad did the most work in this matchup?
Então, o time de vocês inteiro é muito grande, mas tem um holofote muito grande em cima de você. Mas além de você, quem do seu time que você acha que tem um grande destaque?
Olha, em questão de destaque, eu não consigo dizer um só, é o time todo, é a Galleries. Se não for esse time, cada engrenagem precisa estar on point para funcionar. Então, se não for eles, se não for esses 5 peças, né, junto com o nosso coach que faz um trabalho absurdo, os outros 4 times são insanos, se não fosse eles, não seria toda essa força que a gente tem.
The spotlight is not just on me, it's on the entire team. We're studying a lot, and even our coach is great, you know?
Excellent. That's the right answer. Congratulations on the W, and good luck in your next ones. Plenty more Call of Duty on the way. Keep it rolling.
Oh my goodness. 2 O's across the board here in our first set of round number 1. For sure, Galori's and also Tribe, that was a very surprising turn of events, especially since we thought that Tribe could actually turn things around, especially with the addition of Ben and also, of course, Hippo as one of their coaches. But of course, that's not the only matches that we are having today. In our first round, we again had 2 O's all across the board. A while ago, we did see Supreme Team up against Q9, and it was not even close. 102 and 250 in the Hackney Yard map, and also for the S&D 1 and 7, of course, the Chinese teams being very dominant in that search and destroy. A story that we're not going to be, a stranger with. And speaking of another Chinese team, we have X-Rock versus Ancient Sea. I mean, it's definitely going to be very difficult to go up against another Chinese team that is so good at that search and destroy. But I mean, even when it comes to the respawns, it wasn't close as well. It was 250 and 71 in standoff, and the search and destroy 7 and 1 in firing range. And of course, you can watch all of these streams in YouTube. And if you are really just curious where you're gonna find the streams, of course, ESL CODM in Twitter or X. You can find that Hill in Mod 6 going to be in that B stream. And in the C stream, we have Verdict and Mustachio. On the D stream, it is going to be D Hitman and I stream. So if you're looking for that exclusive and LG matchup, well, of course, with the battle of that Western teams, we do have LG winning that matchup pretty fair and square. So when it comes to the North American team that's actually performing really good, LG seems to be a really good pick right now. Again, they are the team to look at when it comes to those NA teams, but a lot more matches up next. Of course, you are going to be taking a really great look when it comes to the other 8 teams that are going to be performing here, because we have Elevate and Godlike next after this short break.
Oh, Elevate and Godlike next.
under cover, but here we are about to rise up.
The Snapdragon Pro Series is brought to you by Snapdragon Elite Gaming, Monster Energy, DHL, and the United States Air Force.
Where we just had some really awesome performances. Match number one, right underway. It is completed, and it was Gallerus. I know you guys talked about your predictions a little bit. It was Gallerus that came out in a very strong 2-0 fashion up against Tribe, and obviously this is day one of the competition. It's our Swiss portion of the competition, which means right now our teams are fighting for that seeding and obviously staying alive to move through to the bracket stage. That first place seed is going to be very coveted as they'll get to go up against the last place seed, hopefully making, ideally in their minds, a little bit of an easier bracket run for them. We'll see, depending on which teams end up at that portion of the competition. But we need to head towards match number two now up here on the main stage. Switching our focus on over to Elevate versus Godlike. I'm excited for this matchup. Let's start things off by talking about Elevate here proper.
Yeah, listen, Elevate was a team, even going through CDSI, people were like, it's always going to be the Chinese teams. And then Elevate got knocked down in the lower bracket. And holy activation Batman. These guys were undeniable from then on out. Just fundamentally sound. The slaying was just at an all-time high. This Kenny fella, let me tell you, he is fun to watch. And I genuinely believe that Elevate coming away from their CDSI win are obviously the targets for everybody to try to beat. They have a bar to set here in this match.
Yeah, I mean, they did everything you would have wanted them to do. They took down all three of the Chinese teams convincingly. I think that was the biggest part about it. They also were able to take down the opponents they're about to play. They defeated Godlike. That was who eliminated them from the tournament overall. So being champions of their region, plus also having the CDSI championship, looked good.
Plus having those sweet jackets. I'm not
Sweet jackets.
Those are pretty nice.
Swagger.
All right, well, obviously, you guys mentioned them. On the flip side of things, we have a squad that we talked about a lot at the top of the show as well, just considering what we saw out of them last time around. We've got Godlike going up against Elevate, so talk to me about Godlike as well.
no longer flying under the radar. That's the biggest thing about not just the team, but the region as a whole, thanks to what Vitality did with their roster move, which I think overall actually helps this Godlike team feel more prepared for this event. You had a much more rigorous challenge in your actual region themselves, where, yes, Godlike and Vitality split series with one another, but you get to CDSI, you don't really follow up with the success that they had at the last international that they played back on the World Championships last year. I think there was also some scrutiny about Godlike having a bit of an easy bracket. I think that was something people were to kind of come through and criticize that run. It was like they didn't play a really difficult first round, and yeah, they took advantage of the Luminosity team that was asleep, but this Godlike team is confident, and I think with them sticking together, they're only going to build on the success that they had from last year.
It's one of those things that you constantly have to build on your successes. And obviously speaking, some shortcomings do come through in most recency, like you were talking about World Championships, CDSI, are all these different shortcomings that were unfortunate for Godlike. But again, this is a team that can absolutely outslay. We've been talking about this ever since they were playing old Team Vitality in their exact region. So I'm excited to be able to see what they've been able to learn and grow from that CDSI.
Absolutely. Lots of time between then and now for them to at least implement some changes here. It'll be interesting to see what they bring to the table. And the final piece of that puzzle is, of course, these maps. We talked about it a little bit, how it could potentially impact the outcome of our last match on the day. Now looking towards these two squads, what do you potentially expect here, Alan, to get?
It's tough to put a finger on anything in particular because these two teams have recent results with one another. So do you run it back? Do you play a map that you thought was winnable and just say, okay, we'll just do better this time, like to put it in very easy terms? Or do you have the opportunity to go back, look at the history of what maps did they prefer over the course of the long week that was CDSI and modify your bands based on what their strongest and weakest maps were at that event? It's kind of, I think, a beggar's choice here of you can pick one, 6 and one, half a dozen of another. I think both are viable options.
Obviously, you mentioned it when we saw the first match as well. We're probably going to be seeing a lot of the firing range in that S&D, but tell me how impactful that S&D can be for a lot of these series, considering these are all quick 3-0s.
Yeah, I mean, listen, when it comes down to a best of 3, we were talking about at the top of the show, your margin for error is so small. And when you start going down in rounds, especially for firing range, search and destroy as a game mode as a whole, you start to feel like that this is a non-winnable situation. Obviously, when it comes down to the Swiss, you do get that second or sometimes third life. Again, you don't want to hit 3 losses before you hit 3 wins, but I think that the search and destroy, especially in a series like this, is very vital. It could be the momentum swing that you do need going into that raid control.
All right, guys, match is almost ready to get underway, so quick predictions here. How do you think this one's going to go?
I got Elevate coming out strong, I think. I had some, concern about would there be any sort of like kind of a hangover from CDSI. You did the job of beating some of the best teams in the world. Can you follow up and make sure that there's still the same passion, the same energy, the same hunger to do the same thing here in day number 1?
You agree?
Yeah, absolutely. I think confidence is an all-time high. These guys have a certain swagger behind them when they're walking backstage as well. I think they come in and they get the job done 2-0 easy.
2-0s across the board here for our casters. Everybody at home, let us know your thoughts in chat as well. If you think it'll be the same, will it be Elevate that's coming out here on top? Or will Godlike, like what we saw out of Gallerus, come through and maybe surprise a couple people? That's exactly what the Swiss stage is for. That's why we call it the era of everyone here at Snapdragon Pro Series. And that's what we are excited to see here all weekend long. Which team is going to be ending up on top at the end of the competition. Now, I know we were talking about those maps here. We're going to be getting that Hacienda Hardpoint, Firing Range, S&D, and then to close it off, raid controls. Anything jump out at you in favor potentially of Godlike with those?
I think that if you're Godlike, you're very happy that you get that Firing Range, Search and Destroy back. That is the one map that you were actually able to take away from Elevate. So it's kind of like a two different sides of the coin of what you were mentioning, right? You do get that run back on the Search and Destroy, but then you also were able to get something of the unknown. I'm excited to be able to see what Godlike actually do look like on a Hacienda versus Elevate, because they put the standoff, they put the summit. It was competitive, but it was not going Godlike's way.
I think if Godlike were to win this series, they need to do it in 2. I just think there hasn't been enough.
I like that call.
I think just like overall conviction towards what their control had looked like, not even just at CDSI, but also in their region. So I think that is kind of another point of concern in terms of them being built for this weekend, is can they be better at control across all 3 maps, not just one or another?
Well, we've seen them thrive under pressure before. We'll have to see if they're able to do it here to kick off the weekend in the Swiss stage of our bracket, or if we'll get another 2-0 like you both predicted in favor of Elevate. But those flyovers are coming in. Match number 2 is about to get underway. Let's get into it.
It's going to be a fun one. And I think, one of those things is this Hacienda is not bad news for Godlike. They've heard it a lot. They've found some good success on it. It's hard to say if it favors one team or the other, because both teams really did prefer to play this map quite a bit throughout not only their region, but also at CDSI. So this feels like perfect opportunity for Godlike to start off their run hot. Take down CDSI champ in their first map, build a little momentum, build a little belief, maybe do the same thing with the firing range, but it just feels like after watching this Elevate team that they were very complete at CDSI. I don't see that changing.
Yeah, no, me neither. But I mean, talk about a step in the right direction. Should you come out of the gates in these first 2 hard points on Hacienda could be so volatile to how the conclusion of this map might end. And I think that if Godlike come out here firing off on all cylinders, it will be very difficult for Elevate to potentially bounce back from. Confidence can be deflated, but nonetheless, we have to see which team will be joining that of Gallus in the 1-0 club.
Should be fun to watch as we jump on in to the first hard point, right down to the middle of the fountain. Lots of focus on what happens between these windows, and okay, good start here from Godlike. Taking some focus over towards the rock side of the stairs. That's enough to take off the players away from the windows and get themselves in for a little bit of time, but not enough to really change the status too much as the Swans will have Elevate right back up top of the high ground.
Yeah, that's right. And that's pretty much all P1 is the early get-goes when it comes on a Hacienda hard point. Basically just trying to maintain high ground control, trying to get a couple players finessing around some smoke grenades inside the hard point. Just as simple as that. But most importantly, you want to make sure that you're playing for those back mansion spawns. P2 is one of our very first money hills here on Hacienda.
Feed the case down over towards the Lambo side of the map, the bottom left. Elevate doing a really nice job here. Just soak up pretty significant time. All things told, I mean, already above 25 seconds after they had gotten kind of surprised by the route that Godlike put together. Really good stuff overall for Elevate. In the yellow, now making the move over towards P2. Elevate doing what they can from the front here. Not going to have a chance to win the spawns as Godlike will anchor things up. A couple of kills will allow them a chance to jump into P2 early.
I mean, but look at the dispersion coming through. I mean, you got one player of Prevail. He's trying to lurk over by rocks. Actually gets a player to spawn on top of him, but you really got to tip it out coming out from Elevate. Actually playing for those close fence spawns. But the problem is they have to march their way up through these very narrow checkpoints.
And Godlike are aware of this. They're anchoring someone in towards the rocks, so they know they're fighting back driveway time and time again. There's an opportunity to really kind of reinforce now as they see a couple of players spawn out. So now everyone comes back into the hard point. This is really good from Godlike, kind of bunkering down inside the hill. First 30 seconds are theirs, but now Elevate have stabilized inside the backside of the spawns. Can they find a way to actually convincingly break this setup? So far, so good. Learn has to give up his angle and try to hit from the front. A little pitch comes over the side hallway, and it's not fully enough to flip the hill as Elevate will continue to spawn close.
Yeah, so now you're just down to about 10 seconds, but you just got to take and run with it here if you are Godlike. A Predator Missile is actually coming out from Trunks. There's only 6 seconds, so really the influence for that might help them move their way towards the hedges, but realistically not a big fan of the Predator Missile potentially for this rotation over towards P3. Godlike do currently hold that position, maybe some information on where they're coming from.
One player for Elevate does spawn behind the play, but it's figured out nicely by Godlike. Now taking their focus to the front. Nice shots from Trunks. Looking for more on the backside as the first war machine gets popped. And again, he's just throwing it through the smoke. Doesn't find anything. It's completely gets countered out by the Sparrow. Good trade of focus as Learn takes his attention back towards the top side of patio. All of Elevate are coming through, but he runs out of shots. And now it's just down to what can Neutrino find with the God-like war machine out.
It was just one war machine that can be pulled out for Elevate. The response for Godlike were 3 operators in tow, and only one of them realistically found somewhat of a value, and that was to end up being Neutrino with that war machine themselves. But it's still Elevate, hanging around the joint, trying to get a little bit more space further forward. Is Godlike trying to unearth Elevate to get more time here at the end of P3?
Honestly, these have been 2 really good hard points for Godlike fighting from inside the hill. They're not controlling patios. They're not controlling the back spawns. They're allowing Elevate to spawn to the backside of the map, but Godlike saying, we'll take the first 35, 40 seconds, let you spawn back at the scrap time, then we'll just rotate freely again. So it's a macro game that's exchanging 40s for 20s, which the mathematicians out there, you don't need a PhD to know that that's enough to likely win the game if that continues.
But it is only a 2-point game. Elevate will go over by the rocks first. Some spawns will start to come through. Starting to open things up with the Purifier, and immediately the Equalizer just both shut down. Just no return of investment there. So Godlike trying to utilize their numbers, trying to push a little bit further forward. So much easier said than done.
Purifier shut down though in Trunks' hands. Of the East, tailing things up with the Annihilator. Yopi, backside of the hill, hoping that his teammates can clear things up from the front side of tiles, and Yopi's done well. Okay, couple to come through, smoke out, but doesn't really do too much to deter this Elevate break from the front. Abi's in trouble, dealt with, and now Elevate's starting to really heat things up as now really the operators are completely extinguished.
The Equalizer finally able to be fully pulled out there for close, trying for the past 4 lives to maybe find value, but Kendi just marches forward, finds 3. And then the final few cleanups come through before we get back towards the center of the map. And again, it's been a tale of two different conversations. Godlike fundamentally sound, as you were pointing out there at the end of P3, with inside the hard point just being able to play such superior positioning, but Elevate, scrappy as ever, just always hanging around and maintain the 15-point lead.
Yeah, really the only difference in this map is the 15 extra seconds that Elevate found on P1.
On P1,
Yeah, so Godlike, I would say, better in P2, P3 than Elevate, who has found more success on these more 50-50 hard points.
That's right.
Back into the middle of the map we go. Even pinstripe kill feed for the time being as we just get trades back and forth. Elevate still inside the time, but Godlike finally a chance to displace him.
Trying to at least finesse down low. Start seeing numbers subsiding. The team in blue that will be Godlike. But most importantly, they're trying to maintain presence over by the lobby of the mansion as well. Elevate should be able to read this. There's 25 seconds to play for, but they can't find the kills. It's just Kenny to show up in the kill feed so far, and Trust will take down PJ as well. So Godlike has back fiercely here in P1 as well, soaking up some more time while also maintaining the correct side of the map ahead of the rotation.
That's exactly right. As they will make their way from window to window, Susano doing what he can to get this scrap time confirmed. Elevate gonna have to stack up and decide how they want to break this back setup from the front. Susano, good read on the trunks behind him. Now allows Elevate just to completely keep their focus on the front. There are operators out and ready. Kenny, Yopi, gonna pull out the most explosive of the two. War Machine and Sparrow, RB committed, but the counter from Lawrence to three. He's able to find three. The follow-up now for Neutrino and Godlike once again able to win over to the first part of P2.
From inside the hard point, their hard work is paying off here, playing for the rotation when there were still 30 seconds left over by P1. Claw invested now for Susano as Elevate are able to break their way back inside the hard point. And look at where Godlike, they're all trapped over by the driveway side, still trying to scrap their way forward for the back 30.
Pitch from Susano on the back. Oh, but Joby, who's able to step on up, find himself two. Susano coming in from the front with Elevate, trying to split focus, hit this break. Looking good, 20 seconds to fight for, and Godlike are stuck, spawning over towards fence. They need to chalk and rotate here.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely do. You can already see at least one player trying to move his way all the way through the garden side. If you spawn close, maybe trying to make it threatening to fight for the scrap time, but what a bounce back coming through from Elevate. I mean, where Godlike found so much success within the first set of hard points starting on P2. Elevate just eviscerate them all. You have operators available for Godlike on this hold. You feel like that you need at least 40 seconds here.
Yeah, Prevail just trying to make a mess of the rotation. Do what he can on Island. He's done well. Prevail for 4 in a row. Equalizer's at the ready. Trying to re-clean up the backside at patio. Gets into the office nicely. A read on one more player. The equalizers around. And how about this call from Prevail, who's starting to chew through this Elevate defense. Able to find himself on 5. Brett Missile gonna be earned. Susano with the shutdown, but Godlike in from the front.
Was that enough to be able to help things out? Like PJ's gonna pull out the purifier and it's gonna get immediately shut down, but it's actually the rest of Elevate that are finding a lot of trade kills, and it's allowing them to get more of this time. Godlike, although Prevail might bounce back here with 2 kills and the Hunter Killer drone, isn't going to be enough to work their way fully back in. Elevate, their win condition is set. So long as they continue to keep it scrappy and get at least 20 seconds on every single hill, they will win at the end.
And Godlike continues to almost voluntarily give up some of these really key power positions around the hard point. This is the second straight P3 we've had where Elevate have just kind of jumped in from top patio. Often more contested than what we've seen, as now PJ starting to light things up on 6 in a row. Brett Missile just to confirm the scrap time as the rotation is already underway for the rest of Elevate. Surely they get past the 200-point mark here.
Yeah, you would feel like it. I mean, look at all the space that they currently have for themselves. It's a split spawn. You got players over by the Shark Tank in the office as well. Players spawning over by the boathouse. Players just lurking over by Lambo, waiting for assistance. But Elevate, they smell blood in the water.
Unreal stuff. As bums is the word here for how Godlike have played these last 2 hard points. Elevate, locking things down, just spamming things out with operators. Only thing available is Neutrino's War Machine for now. Prevail, nice double from the outside of open steps. Godlike able to hold behind that. Yopi now having heard a Sparrow. Says that this is the time to go. Not even looking at with anything yet, but all the split focus back over towards the front is perfect. The trophy does not get down in time, and Elevate continue to soak up more scrap time.
Yeah, I mean, there's not enough time to win here if you are Elevate. That much is evident. But Godlike, they just so desperately need every single second that might be available for their game. Learn will end up finding 2. Let's go to a listen in here now with Godlike to see how they might bounce back ahead of the P1.
दो लोग chess एक लगता है कैसल टॉप एक chess
इधर कमेंट्री होने दो
कैसल टॉप लो बीमिट 2 बंदे एक ब्राउन टॉप से आ गया
अरे अंदर यार कम्युनिकेशन
एक ग्राउंड टॉप कैसल के साइड ओपी दे वो ओपी दे चढ़ के दो तीन बंदे P1 में
ഇവര് കില്ല് മാത്രം എടുക്കുന്നുള്ളൂ ക്യാപ്ചർ ചെയ്ത് കുറവ് അവര് ആവശ്യത്തിന് കില്ല് എടുക്കുന്നുള്ളൂ
Not good news here for Godlike as Elevate continue to do the dirty work here at P1. PJ locking down the purifier to make sure no one gets in towards the bottom bar, and they can just win it out right here. You've got hunter killers, you've got predator missiles, you've got more operators to throw in at it. Although Godlike do shut a lot of that down and keep themselves alive for a little while longer.
And calling in the predator missile while you already have an active purifier. Trunks just simply will not let it go to waste. Has currently found himself 6 in a row. Is still alive on the map, by the way, and currently just being a thorn in the side of Elevate, who just needs 10 more points.
Yeah. Could very well do it on the rotation over towards P2. They're even finding a little bit of the scrap time here on the first hill as well. Godlike will get the benefit of the spawns towards new. Trunks also popped off. He's able to get himself into a Pred missile. That will clear some of the space. Yopi from the inside, though, goes completely unguarded. And Yopi almost wins the game himself. But you have to think that the double is likely enough as Elevate can now flood it through the side steps, and there's no chance for Godlike to fight back. 250, 144, Elevate cruise to a map 1 win.
Very similar of what we had at CDSI when these two teams did meet. The hard points, at least respectable for a scoreline, and Godlike started off so well when it came down to Hacienda hardpoint, playing fundamentally sound, playing for the spawns, giving up the back 20 seconds and setting up with superior positioning. But Elevate are just like a bunch of cockroaches when it comes down to these break attacks. They just keep playing in the numbers of the right position and the right times, and as you were pointing out, it just kept on unearthing Godlike from such powerful positions time and time again. It inevitably led to their resource advantage, which did win them the game.
Well, the interesting thing about it, and we'll kind of see it on the minimap through these replays, is the amount of times that Godlike just kind of voluntarily decided we wanted to play from inside the hill and not really zone out with the proximal spawns in their favor. You know, kind of highlighted that in particular. P2, they tried to keep Godlike spawning towards Fence's side. It worked out for a while to get into the hard point, but as soon as the driveway flips, Elevate find a way to re-break in. Same thing for P3. You're playing back of Fence's not top patio.
Yeah,
you're allowing Elevate to initially say, hey, we got a lot of space here. They figured out the second rotation in particular, and they absolutely punished Godlike for not playing aggressively around the hill.
Yeah, I think in Landon's terms, like, Godlike playing super reactionary, where you had Elevate that were constantly being proactive, just always altering how they were looking on the map, always making sure that they were finding at least a handful of kills, opening up a different opportunity through the multitude of different hard points that we did have. It's a big step in the right direction coming through from Elevate. Their CDSI win to start off with a win here in Atlanta is big.
So you look at the damage dealt, you've got 42 for PJ, 42 and 35. Everyone going just about positive for the most part. Other side of things, really not a bad performance at all from Godlike considering the score at the end of it. It's just the objective time. That's where the big difference is. As Chloe gets over 2 minutes inside the hill, and the top scorer in terms of overall time was just Trunks with 1:08. So again, the objective focus not as strong as the for Godlike. P4 is where all they found a lot of unexpected time.
Yeah, especially, I mean, that very first P1, it's like we were talking about, like even that 15 seconds going into the second set, it was big and it was momentum because as previously stated that Godlike were forced to play inside of the hard point, and then just played in Elevate's hand, just being able to read and deconstruct how every single setup was mostly set up for themselves. A lot of good moments for a lot of different players, and yeah, when it comes down to Trunks, that 45 kills that he did drop kind of got bolstered at the end with a massive 9 spree that he went on, but semantics aside, this is an Elevate team that was formed to win championships. They already have one on their belts when it comes down to this year. This is a big moment for them to be able to win this as clean as possible.
Absolutely the case. So a great start. And respawn is, I think, the biggest thing we have to keep an eye on for this Elevate squad, because that's how they were able to beat pretty much all of the Chinese teams. And Ragsrock in particular, that matchup was a fun one to go back and rewatch, just seeing how they really kind of bullied X-Rock in a number of different moments throughout the hard point, especially the control. Did not take Search and Destroy from them, but Chinese Search and Destroy is very good. So pretty good. It's pretty good. Well, you know, yeah, not bad. But we go to a fighting range for map number 2, and this is where Godlike series would have to bounce back, considering that they already beat.
And where we are 2 for 2 on fighting range, Search and Destroy map number 2s, but the only issue is if you go back as far as history is concerned, not exactly a positive win ratio for Elevate. And I think that when you go back and you watch that fighting range Search and Destroy between these two teams at CDSI, is that Godlike were able to take advantage of just how well they were isolating target after target. It's almost kind of like what we got out of Galaris versus Strive in our very SnapdragonProSeries of the day. That is very similar to how Godlike had a winning moment versus Elevate in this map number 2. Obviously, it would be everything, so they can extend it into a rate control for that square up, whatever that may look like, but still a massive moment here for Elevate to learn from their previous mistakes.
The other side of things here, this Godlike team, I'm really curious to see what their search is going to look like this weekend. This is often we look back at the Indian region and take much away from the previous results.
Sure.
Save the matchups that they played versus Vitality.
Yeah.
But the one thing that I'm kind of looking over the numbers is like, Godlike either are incredible at search or very poor. I mean, we're looking at a lot of lopsided scores early throughout this year, a lot of 7-2s, 7-1s. You get to CDSI, a couple of tight overtime, 7-9s there, here and there, but there are a couple of really bad losses. It's just kind of hard to, look at results like that and say, well, what's going wrong here for Godlike? Is it just because one player has to pop off when they do things snowball, or what's going to be the case? Like, what's the identity of this search going to look like?
Yeah, that much was evident, especially getting to land for CDSI. Very, very tossed up when it comes down to even the two search and destroys that they play versus Vitality. It's just stark comparisons. Consistency is very important when it comes down to Call of Duty Mobile, and yeah, the highs and lows will surely be there, but it's 11:35 local time here. You needed to wake up quite some time ago. You needed to be prepared for this matchup yesterday.
See what happens. Again, best of threes. No forgiveness. No. Everything comes down to what you were able to build leading into this event. Smokes, two of them thrown over through mid here. As Godlike on the offense are trying to maybe pull Elevate towards B with this hit down mid. Problem is, shot lands towards the play at B, and now Elevate are very aware that there is a play through mid.
If you've been living under a rock and not watching what Elevate has to offer, Wampy's dead now, but Kendi is an absolute superstar. Big trades will at least come through. It's going to force out the 2v3.
But Elevate do what they need to do to try to limit the damage on this quick play through mid. Now the focus just goes purely towards B. Susano playing a very close corner here on Tigers. They actually catch something as there's a slide over. Doesn't know where exactly he wants to take the aim as there's a couple of players nearby. Nice shots for PJ, who can now re-wrap this. This is a brilliant little micro movement step for him as he can just kind of double up and play this backside to isolate. Doesn't need the help though, does Susano, as he finds a little shot on the neutrino. And first round will go to Elevate.
Especially off the trade of an ace, ceremonious as it is when it comes down to be executed. I love the decision making coming through from Elevate, just to suppress, at least make sure that a player's watching the flank, but once you get the information coming through from the slide, just fully engulf them. You have the numbers, wonderfully done.
Sand smoke here for Godlike up the middle of the map. This time though, they're playing a little bit more passively. They do find first blood, but Yopi aggressive out of 10. Finds one, but can't step away from the trade from a B. So we'll keep the numbers advantage. 4v3 early for Godlike, who have now taken a bit of a pause, trying to tally up where exactly these last Elevate defenders are.
Learned, getting a lot of information. Are we going back over towards B? Are we full sending over towards A? Seems that it will be the latter. So I have to worry about PJ with this Fennec inside the trailer.
Stuck from Elevate, locking things down. Smoke out again. This doesn't really affect PJ. He still has a little bit of a cross that he can see here. Abis steps through. Catches the first. PJ doesn't know where he's going. Where did he go? Where did he go? He's a ghost. Abis in and out like a phantom.
The smoke grenade was so timely for Avi's success there. Was able to get back behind the bomb, catches one Elevate player lacking. And then by the time you try to turn for that trade, your teammate's gone, you're chasing ghosts at that point. Brilliant response for Godlike.
First time we're going to see heavy stacks of nades over towards the A side of the map here for Godlike's offense. Couple of spam shots over through the woodwork as well. Nothing going to land as there's a double stack of Elevate defenders inside of trailer. Counter nades coming through just to make sure A stays clear. But Godlike have shown some restraint. The focus was through, and they actually catch Klo, who tried for an early flank through jungle. Doesn't work out. Now numbers will allow Godlike to approach.
So two players lurking around wood. They're actually going to send neutrino all the way through from the flank, but they have lost trunks. So 4v4, you're not really in a position to try to give up this bomb site. You're kind of committed to this now if you're Godlike.
Yeah, halfway, as the Bees, I was about to say, is trying to work things over to the middle map. He does find another. So now these defensive players should be able to just keep their focus on trailer, but doesn't work out as Yopi connects on to Learn. And Neutrino's long flank now all of a sudden has to be wind condition. The Bees clears out trailer by just walking in, but gets caught swapping weapons. And Neutrino's not going to clear America, so Susano will find the easy kill, and Elevate will get their second.
Just strange. I mean, once you get a player over on the bomb itself, just ready to plant it, you're kind of really relying on Trunks in that moment to fully clear inside a trailer. Once you lose that life, you're kind of hesitant on what you're supposed to do with your two players watching the flank. Neutrino's flank just needed to come through a little bit faster. Not really well judged for the timing as Elevate take a one-round lead.
Trophies splitting the map here as Godlike will not get aggressive early. Instead, they're looking for quick contact, and they actually get some wall bang onto PJ for first blood. Stun through mid just to make sure no one's lingering towards the front side at trailer. And I would imagine that Godlike are going to start to put together whatever their intentions are here as a follow-up nade stun combo goes to topside A. And
wow.
Trino lands one onto Susano's forehead inside of mid-10.
That is a hell of a nade. First stun didn't connect on anything. Second and the third nade over by A. Doesn't connect with anything as well. Now, you'd have to imagine that a player still might be lurking inside of America, but these last two players are isolated. To say you have numbers advantage would be putting it lightly.
Yeah, they did kind of clear this up a touch with nades inside of the trailer, so they should be able to safely commit to the A plant, and that will be the case. Small tally of a follow-up kill, though, comes out of Elevate. So Kendi, Klo, need to try to work this, and they're going to do so independently of one another. One from one side, one from the other. What does Klo's COD timing look like here? Kendi holding very patiently, waiting to see if Klo will catch any contact. We gotta go, boys. And oh boy,
not enough time.
Yeah, right in the Bermuda Triangle goes Klo between three different Godlike members. Good damage onto one, but the clock is the issue. Kendi able to connect, but he has to stick. You have to stick this. Klo, they have a chance to help out here. Hold on a second, but he hits the shot that matters. No more defuse. And he even connects onto the pistols for the final.
I mean, that's a massive moment for a Bees. You're kind of forced into two different situations as a pro player there. You have to help out your teammate, but most importantly, their win condition has to be that angle from showers. Wonderfully done there for a Bees to be able to get the shot that mattered the most to confirm a second round on the board.
Looking at live tally of what the performance looks like thanks to our friends at Snapdragon. As we get early action once again, snipers exchanging kills. Klo gonna be getting a lot of focus here. Good support nades over the top through middle though. They're landing right all over this Godlike offense, softening up the hit, and that's enough for Klo to somehow finesse for two. Follow up through the middle of the map is good though for Godlike, and they should be able to get a B plant. But Yobi is also seeing bottom 10, so no need for it. Initially, the defensive nades over the top
was great.
Absolutely critical.
That was great. That was exquisite to watch from the mini-map. All the nades coming over and then the hit soon to follow. That's just some of the brilliant teamwork that we have seen from Elevate, especially recently. But it's Godlike now to flip the lead. They have a one-round lead now. Offense is just going to play rather passive, see what information they can find off of their nades.
And smoke through middle just allows the Bees to watch that cross through trailer. Couple of spam shots also just whisking by. Kendi looking for the follow-up. Oh, he's just caught in no man's land. That should lead to a commitment onto A with Kendi out of the picture. You gotta be thinking this is post-plan at A all day long.
You still don't know if there's a player lurking inside a trailer. It's actually a three-player committal that's actually coming through jungle defensively.
Yeah, but the post-plan is set up for this setup. And Trunks nearly does it all himself. Doesn't even want the pistol. Give me more of that. Takes out three. Klo also tagged. Easy follow from Neutrino and Godlike up 4-2 at the half.
Big momentum swing for Godlike. They gotta be feeling confident now. You've beaten these guys here before. They can smell that rate control very nearby as we will flip sides. Elevate for their opening offense. It is firing into the end of the day. You will see a lot of nades through mid, but Elevate's numbers are favoring that to be.
Learn able to connect onto a car bomb for the first. Nade to Trunks does damage, but not enough to get him out of position. He almost gets the reload for a third. Yobi able to get himself at least one trade. The retreat back is desperate though in nature, and Godlike can smell blood in the water. Susano trying to hold, but not going to be allowed to. Godlike takes the first defense, and then now a wide margin starts to exist in the scoreboard.
And 2 more rounds, and Godlike will be loading into a third and final map here in their opening best of 3 versus your CDSI champion of Elevate. And Trunks is just playing out of his mind. Up to 10 eliminations so far. Passive setup coming through for Elevate. Just trying to see what information they could possibly get out of Godlike, and it's a first blood.
Yeah, Bees will drop. Sniper out of the picture all of a sudden. For Godlike's defense. Elevate, spreading the map. Trying to take their focus over towards the A side. Stun over the corner, just make sure no one's holding close. there will be question marks about if there's anyone inside a trailer. Learn tallies, there's a couple. Trying to threaten towards A. He wants the action. Gets a couple of hit markers, but nothing more, and that's going to lead to a post plant.
Play comes through from Trunks, and he finds the utmost perfect timing for 3. Knows that there might be one more player over inside of Showers for sure now, as Susano will find that trade, but the bomb has been dropped on A.
What a route. What a route. And now Susano trying to finesse. Pulls the attention to Godlike. 60 seconds to play. Klo, a little bit of sneakiness of his own. But look at the proactive movement from Godlike. They're going to take Showers, saying, we can still just jump peek the bomb. Learn can hold deep to see if there's a cross through wood. And if we have to collapse onto B, that's fine. Bomb gets collected, and the shots from Learn are just not there. So now it's just down to Neutrino 1v2.
Oh, but the timing might not be there for the peak. Gets timing. You see the front legs him, can't get the kill. And that's all the information you need for Elevate. Plant the bomb at A, play the post plant in America.
Yep. Neutrino also had a second window to try to hit. Doesn't work. Swaps to an Ode. Maybe he can find ways to connect where Learn was unable to. Susano holding the mid cross. Passive setup for Klo on top of the bomb. Neutrino reveals his position with the stray shot over towards America. Now it's just down to Kenny to the Ode now. He guesses right when Klo was left, and Elevate will respond.
I got nothing. I mean, I'm starting to get increasingly nervous once we saw the last few players for Godlike there. He got inside of Showers, a little bit of a further approach coming through from Learn just to be able to hold that angle outside of wood, but gets caught. Elevate 1 round at a time, diminishes lead to 2.
Shot lands for Kendi on to Learn. Hit marker again, though. And that's enough for those smokes to fade away with really not a lot of ground taken behind that.
Yeah.
In fact, it's Godlike who tried to get aggressive through mid outside of trailer. That's enough for a route for Trunks to rotate back through sandbags, and Elevate will have to consider that that's a possibility, seeing as they were pushed off the mid angles.
And now what utility do you even have left to try to execute on one of these sites? You almost feel like that you have to square up and try to get some of these kills inside the trailer, maybe all the way through jungle, but...
Oh. If you're going to clear trailer, you're going to run into Prevail with an R9.
Exactly. It is so standardized coming through from Godlike, post all of the utility in this 5v5.
Feels like a round where we saw in Tribe just have to run forward.
Yeah.
Might have to be the same case here. And Kendi will move forward. It won't be a run. A B's up and over. That was seen. Action happening off screen. Doesn't really result in anything for now until eventually Kendi does connect. So now you can try to flood this. Again, the question will be what comes through middle here as Elevate, again, have not put eyes on mid at all.
You gotta be worried about Learn in his positioning through mid. Actually gives it up for the timing. Comes on to Prevail to maybe try to stop this. You're not gonna expect the player directly to his right, and it is just unfortunate disaster for Godlike in this 5v5. Elevate brute force their way onto the A site. Neutrino, good luck, have fun, buddy.
It looked like it was a retake stun that tried to get Prevail out of trailer.
Yeah.
I don't know if it landed. There's a trophy that I think was placed late by Elevate. May have stopped that little bit of a flash push situation, as no one was affected by it. At least if they were, it wasn't for long. So 2 in a row for Elevate gets us back to within 1. Godlike on this next defense. Defensive smoke gets placed deep through middle. Aggressive nades for Elevate, but they have to respect the smoke. You can't just stack at backside obstacles, so they have to hold and wait to clear wood before they can move on to A.
Very similar setup coming through for Godlike defensively. Players inside a trailer, you got one player watching that very long cross of a B's. Does not want to get first blooded by Kendi, who has had his number for the past few rounds when it comes out of first bloods, but Elevate not liking what they saw. Kind of pushed them back off of that smoke like you were talking about, just playing for the timing. So hanging around over by the course itself. Stun's not going to connect with anything as well. Question marks for Elevate.
Oh, the Beast gets 2. Lines him up on the corner. Wallbang double, by the way.
Yeah, wallbang. Wallbang.
You think the Tundra has some piercing power?
I've seen more.
I've seen less. Elevate stuck. 60 seconds to play. They have. The thing about this is, a Beast finding that collapse, they still have no idea there's a crossfire setup inside of trailer inside A.
And then what do you even do? I mean, like, Yobi has the bomb. He's trying to at least catch a timing, maybe a stray shot to be able to get an elimination. Well, we're down to 45 seconds. You have to commit towards one of these bomb sites, and it's not going to be B. They don't have enough utility to clear all the corners around tires.
And the Beast can just play this safe corner. They know they've got the advantage playing in trailer. And if things get really mixy, Neutrino can also rotate over. Trunks is going to step up. This is bold, and Susano misses. That's enough for Trunks to find a couple of B's finishes. And also, Godlike will get to that point.
No more funny business coming through from Godlike. You won 2 in a row if you are Elevate through the offensive incursions, but Godlike shut it down. The big first blood is coming through. But most importantly, it was a great answer for the utility. I mean, Elevate just had so many question marks, they did not know where to go.
Opening focus for Godlike. Getting aggressive. That stun will land. That's one way to kind of counteract offensive trophies. Just push so far forward that you just get it too far deep. Doesn't result in a first blood, though, as Kendi will stay at least idle over towards A, while the rest of the focus moves into B. Neutrino nearby. Gets a couple of hit markers. Not able to find PJ. Where's Trunks? He was right here. He got on a crossfire, but he allowed Elevate to get into the site, and that makes this a bit of a mess now defensively.
Favoring towards the reload so that way he can take at least 2 more gunfights. And it forces Elevate just to kind of give up, almost expecting Trunks to overheat, but that's not the case at all.
No. Same breath, Kendi also drops on that island towards A. So this hit for Elevate has to come over, and whoa, Trunks does overheat a little bit. Thinking maybe he's got timing, but once more, it's just one of those moments that he's going to look back on and say, I didn't need to do that. We've got A control already, we've got good focus here at B, and that's now a door starting to open up a little bit here for Elevate to try to retake out of this B site.
Not saying that is an excuse, but if I had 16 eliminations and a firing range search and destroy through 10 rounds, I probably would overheat as well. But it could be a crucial moment. 3v3. A Beast's position could be everything. Knows that at least one player had cross. Just waiting is Prevail for that timing off of what a Beast can see off the contact.
Yep. Should be an angle to stop a desperate plants on B if they trust it. Prevail. They have caught some contact. A late rotation back to A. And at the same rate, Godlike are sitting here saying, well, this surely has to be B. They're going to be late to the party here. Abiz has to be careful of 10.
All the timing.
And now it's down to really just learn. Does he want to peek this? Nade is being cooked up. Does this land for Abiz? There's still trophy systems nearby, but it's still enough for Learn to push. He finds not just 1, but 2. Trade is decent, but there's no more time on the clock. Godlike will take the firing range against Elevate again.
It's a very, very bold move there at a moment's notice. Even in a 3v3, just you're on the B bomb site rather than try to commit and pushing all the way through from the information. They saw Prevail, and they thought that as an opportunity. We have 2 players over here. Surely the third is probably watching mid, which, albeit they were, you have 20 seconds left to rotate all the way back through wood to get over towards that A bomb site, where their rotation through America with the Odin, as you saw from Learn, is just so simplistic.
Yeah, and I think the other side of that, and again, it's a desperate play in certain ways, but, you know, if you're Elevate, if we're in this 3v3 situation, even if it's a 2v2, if you're keeping someone kind of, you know, watching the flank, you have to be watching over the bomb planner there. Like, we can't just be watching the big cross. We have to be helping the bomb go down successfully. So, a couple of moments in there where you look at and say, ooh, not as tight as you'd like to see, but I think if there were to be a weakness in Elevate's game after watching CDSI, it would be in their search and destroy.
Absolutely.
And of course it is, again, a run-back map that they had already lost to Godlike in the first place. So, moments of life here for Godlike, even in the face of a Trunks takeover.
16 eliminations is insane. Also had a Herculean performance in the map number 1. The scoreline not as competitive or as convincing as this one here, but again, I think you're just gotta respect it for what it is, right? You're gonna see firing range everywhere. Like, you gotta have a firing range search and destroy when it comes down to Call of Duty Mobile competitive, but also at the same point in time, I do respect it for Elevate, leaving it in against Godlike. It is the one map mode combination you did lose to them previously not too long ago at CDSI, but this is what I was worried about going in towards a raid control. Control as a game mode may not be as well versed for some players. However, when it comes down to raid, this is a bread and butter. And if Trunks is shooting like this, it might be a certain problem for Elevate to deal with off this momentum swing.
Yeah, but the side of this, that, and again, we'll talk about this in a moment, is Godlike don't play raid. They just don't. They really, I think, you know, you look back at CDSI, they tried to finesse the veto process by playing a lot of Seaside. which was not a popular map in China at all. So that seemed to be kind of the focus. Whereas you look at Elevate and what their history has looked like on at least the control, they were great at control throughout CDSI. In fact, they didn't drop a single control at CDSI. So there is that to play with, including some really convincing results on raid. So this is, again, you know, when you're looking at this Elevate team, how do they go from one championship to another? It's going to be largely through the way of the respawn.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And that has been their winning combination as well. And that's why you could just see just how loose they are on the stage. They understand, yeah, Search and Destroy, maybe our weakest game mode. That's not exactly great conversations to have for yourself when it comes down to a potential best of 7 should you make it to Grand Finals. However, the respawns, should you close out a series early and fast enough through your slaying prowess and just how meticulous we saw them breaking every single hardpoint that Godlike were set up for, why not have the same copy-paste moment when it comes down to raid control?
Very true. Other side of it is there's some PTSD built into Godlike on this stage, on this map.
Well, when you put it like that.
All the long-standing COD Mobile historians will, of course, remember that this was the last moment of their World Championship run versus Wolves, and it was a map that we look back on and say they should have won it. They had two options. The stack, they just forgot about the objective. Now, talking with these guys while they were here early, they said, look, we know we messed up, but you learn from moments like that, and not having been in a situation like that before, mistakes like that can happen.
Sure.
That's a growing moment for sure. It comes with obviously a lot of pain, but there's no better way to come back and find recovery than stepping onto the stage again, nearly another 10 months later, and being able to win this map versus a very quality opponent on the other side.
Can't ask for a better test than a team off of recency are coming into a raid control 13-1 before this weekend even started.
Yeah.
That is a tough ask, but again, when we talk about control, Arsenal, Seaside, to your point that you brought up earlier, you're just not going to want to face off against Elevate on a map mode combination that will enact a spawn trap inevitably should you lose the opening salvo. But raid gives you a fighting chance, especially when you do have some pretty darn straight shooters on this Godlike roster. And to your point again, just learning from everything, what they were able to intake last year came up short, whatever. But I think that this team is always willing to step up to the task, get better with one another. That's why they're still sticking together as a team. Be able to see what they can also do here on the global stage once more.
I really want to see how polished this Elevate control looks.
Me too.
Like, it's one thing sitting back and watching it. It's another to, like, actually be actively breaking it down and making note of the small things that they do well.
Yeah.
That's sometimes just be missed if you're opening up and watching 4 streams at once right now, by the way.
Which you should be.
Which you should be.
Yeah.
Multiple tabs, friends. There's an app for that.
Quad box it. But, you know, it's just a beautiful thing. And there's so many games that are happening as well. Even from our perspective over here, we can still see the BC and D streams as those games are still going on. Just bangers after bangers. Part of the course when you're at a World Championship.
I got someone on a map 3 Seaside control over there. Looks like it's on the Delta stream. Not sure who's playing that, but that's something to keep your eye on. Could be Upset City happening over there. You know who's playing there? Who you got?
I'm trying to find out.
All right. I love your effort.
I tried. It's the thought.
It's the thought that counts, yeah. Well, regardless, we're ready to go here for match A, so stick with us as we jump on into a raid control. Godlike trying to find a way to possibly give an early upset, so to speak. It's hard to say with any sort of like solidified confidence because this is your runners-up from last year, but they are playing the recent CDSI champions, so you know, call it what you want, but it wouldn't feel like an upset in a lot of ways.
Control, if you're unfamiliar, capture segments on the zone. The more segments you capture, if it goes round 5, you will get defense, but if you can win by kills, if you can win an offensive round, good for you because it is very difficult to do.
Yeah, this is what we come to expect. Kenny's going to snipe whenever he possibly can. Early defense, though, for Elevate, already being tested over the top of TV zone. And Godlike will come away with even exchanges on overall lives. Able to step on to pause the clock for a minute, but not even a minute, it's a second. Counter nades are good, and that's enough for Godlike to say, we're done with this site, let's move over to A.
Yeah, might as well try. Got a lot of space in the middle of the map through rocks, but nobody's inside a kitchen yet. Neutrino's just a little bit late for this. He's expecting a hit to come through from pillars, and albeit it does, the pinch is just not good to deal with. But Godlike still hanging around over by the A control zone, and we'll keep the clock stalled for now.
Yeah, second to progress on the way. Bedroom control still in hand, though, for Elevate's defense, trying to recover. Over through the front side at money window while simultaneously pinching a Bees, little left-right combo. Oh, almost takes it into the left-right, and then the instant haymaker out of the Tundra, but Prevail will get the elimination. Second hit block, third now on the way, and here comes Elevate trying to flood, but a Bees standing in forward, able to at least eliminate this defense down to single lives, and that's enough to extend the clock an extra 60 seconds.
Okay, it's insane how that does end up working in Godlike's favor. Trunks' position off the respawn was actually still holding the entirety of the flank. A very slow start for how good of a series that this young man has currently had for himself, but a Bees with that sniper rifle is going to be potent enough. It's a 2-life deficit for Godlike, but they have so much more time to work with over here by the ring.
Oh, I thought for a second Trunks was about to absolutely world star Clo. Doesn't work out, as Clo keeps his life, he turns that into a second elimination. So now 12 plays 9. Advantage to Elevate. 3 ticks is all that's been tallied to this point. Minute 20 on the clock, and Godlike are putting together at least an attempt to pinch. I mean, you've got a player, Neutrino, deep in the defensive spawn, and he's going to call for more assistance. They're trying to rewrap laundry here.
You also have the same thing happening on Elevate side. They have a numbers advantage here, and with a clock that is going to be in their favor as they're starting to clear over by Garage. Players still hanging around ring. You're pretty convinced at this point if you are. If you can just hold the angle, what the quick scope was that?
Nade in the left hand, sniper rifle in the right hand. This guy hits the gym. Tell you what, follow-up from Elevate, working out for a little bit of spawn pressure, as now it's just down to the last 2 lives for Godlike. And there's nowhere for them to go. Yeah, so 3 ticks of progress is all they're going to find. Learn just doing what he can to try to reduce the life gap just a touch, but good defense from Elevate, all things told.
Absolutely. I mean, being able to at least read the situation where the initial hit is coming from is one of the more difficult parts when it comes down to control, as Learn just trying to make it punishing there at the end. Yeah, I mean, hold on a second.
I mean, he finds one more kill. He may get this first tick of progress locked. That could be important.
It might be. Gets the first over towards Pillars, but the pinch from Laundry is inevitable. So 3 seconds, thanks to Avisa's efforts and Neutrino as well, over by that A control zone. But yeah, great defense coming through from Elevate, just being able to win not only the opening engagement, but keep Godlike pinched in the middle of the map. It exhausted so much of the clock.
And this is what we often talk about with control in COD Mobile. You've got operator advantage now for Elevate. The defensive win. They're going to pop the Sparrow and the War Machine initially, but that's a nade from Neutrino that actually stops Yopi's Sparrow before he can even take a shot with it. Neutrino hasn't been able to do too much with his War Machine either, so not a lot of value here for early operators as Elevate continue just to kind of wait for their moment to jump onto the A zone.
Not exactly what you want to see as an Elevate fan, but a great response coming through from Neutrino, not only from the nade itself, but just the single operator that was expended to keep Elevate at bay. That 1-for-2 trade is going to be good. And then you force Elevate back to the drawing board, try to play through the middle of the map. They're already up to the pool side and inside the basketball court, so the clock will stall at 56 seconds.
Yeah, lots of names being thrown here as Elevate are not just happy staying on this one, they want to get aggressive. Close, surprised with the equalizers out. Abi's able to turn that into technically 2. He gets the quick scope for one, the nade for the other, but Elevate's attentions on towards the A zone still look strong as mid-map focus continues to bleed over towards the Green squad.
And look at the setup coming through from Godlike. I mean, they are just inside of Garage. A grenade will unearth Prevail from the AC units, but from the positioning that you have, if you are Learn, look where everybody's spawning, just in a linear and one-dimensional path into Neutrino's, having himself a great map number 3.
Trade is decent, though. Elevate can at least still frame up some sort of a hit. But look at the Godlike defense. They're setting up the zip trap. They've got it. They've got the gym control. They've got the AC control. And now you're just screwed. I mean, if you're looking at this from Elevate, you're hoping you can jump onto the point, give yourself the extra 60. Why are we not jumping on the point and giving ourselves the extra 60? There we go. Finally, we jump on forward, but now you've got to turn around. You have to deal with the spawn trap. I mean, you still have Learn teeing off, and finally, it's someone who spawns up in the form of Susano to turn and find the elimination.
But now you have to start realizing, why are we spawning inside of the gymnasium? It's because there's still one more player inside of the spawn. And they have a claw. It is Trunks, who hasn't had a great map number 3 thus far, but this claw inside of Art just might be the final thorn that Elevate has to deal with. It is 14-8, and Godlike have been in the spawn trap since yesterday.
Tough timing there for Trunks. Tries to step in with the claw, but loses its channel and gets caught with a knife out. Still, though, 4 life advantage. Prevail gonna call the equalizers in through Art.
Okay.
Yeah? Decisions were made.
They sure were.
He's going to lock on this front door, but it just doesn't feel super necessary, especially considering that all of Godlike are still around this zone with complete control of it.
I mean, it's just such an unnecessary resource to throw away. Especially once you inevitably do win this 10v5. The elevator now out of respawns that you might just need to be able to convert one of the upcoming zones for an offense. All speculation aside, Kenny's going to be able to take down one.
Yeah.
Getting further positioning here on ring. There is a flank though.
The thing is, with this kitchen control, Elevate should know that they've got Godlike spawning out. This is still doable with the flank from Trunks. They have just taken the last life out of the lungs of this Elevate offense. And yeah, Bees tallying on the Susano. PJ last one left also gets shut down. 3 ticks for both sides so far through our first 2 rounds.
Yeah, 3 segments each, so even playing ground. But again, it mostly comes down to the resources when we talk about converting an offense in Call of Duty Mobile, when it comes down to being able to turn what almost feels like this is going to be sent towards a round number 5. One operator currently in the hands for PJ. Kendi also going to pull out the War Machine as well, just trying to win this defense before it even starts.
It's an Annihilator battle in middle. Beast has the last word. Kendi has to rotate with the War Machine. He popped this early, just hoping for something desperate. Not going to really work out over the top, so Bees will jump on. Clock will pause at a minute 10. And kitchen control also looking good for Godlike. It's going to be an early stack for some very early success here on the A zone.
The Trino has been a problem. If it's not with the Odin, it is surely with the nades and other ordinances, including the War Machine. Hunter Killer Drone going to try to move themselves a little bit further forward. Watch out for player number 3 in blue, trying to work himself up a little bit of a flank. He's currently sitting up inside of bedroom, and this is a lot of pressure that you have to turn to deal with if you are Godlike.
Yeah, that's just a really good timing on the bench. Clo from one side, Yopi on the other. Stops the second tick before it can be fully captured. And now you're forcing this Godlike offense to have to go A because of the route through the bottom side of bedroom. So now all of a sudden a little bit of trouble here for Godlike. Trying to get some feet underneath them on this approach, but a couple of kills after the backside of the smoke dissipates, allows them to at least reduce the elevated defense just a touch.
And now what resources do you even have to try to combat it against this? You got 2 seconds over at A, but just look at Elevate just suppressing them as PJ just jumps from the rafters, finds himself yet another kill, 15 to their name. And now Godlike forced to march across the pool side. They need this 3rd segment.
Yopi tallies the inventory of how many players are here. Almost gets the transfer for a couple, but again, that's what Yopi does. He's the first man in. The rest of the team cleans things up. 16 seconds on the clock. Currently being paused with focus over towards B. That's going to have to be where Godlike tries to get an extra 60. There's just no way to get back over to the A zone. The equalizers from Clo clear out Art, and with that, now Godlike are just kind of back and forth ping-ponging between which zone they're trying to attack.
And it's just because of how proactive Elevate are, just being able to find all these kills, they either march through Art or they march through the Zig stairs, just to try to make sure that Godlike can spawn in very precarious position. PJ up top with the Odin, just letting them have it. Trunks was one shot. Kenny will claim his own life, but it should just be the round here. No response remaining for Godlike in AP4.
Oh, but they do find a couple of kills. Second tick is done. 3rd possibly getting a tally here with that. Yopi in for the contest. Last second to come through, and Godlike will actually be able to stop it a little bit longer, but not do much more beyond just a small contest. So 2 ticks added on to the tally, and with that Elevate looking good for their defense again.
Yeah, I think that 2nd segment is pretty vital. Obviously, 2 is more than 1. That's how increments do work. But at the end of the day, I think that Godlike did have ample opportunities to be able to capture that 8 control zone. It just comes through from the timing for the player top bedroom for Elevate. But you need defense here if you are Godlike, and you need it to be a very potent one at that to maintain that round 5 defense should we get there.
Now PJ gets up top, already has another Annihilator from when he started last round. These shots though not fully in, at least initially, but is still zoning out this Godlike defense. Knows he's got a player backside jungle and tries to sniff it out before the Annihilator charge runs out, and that's where it will end. 3 battles for Godlike over the top of A has worked out nicely, but Elevate still with a big staging setup will throw every single nade to the Neutrino direction, pushes him off, and Elevator back onto the A zone already.
How do you get yourself out from here? A lot of it has to be through the money window, but the crossfires, the gunfights, just the timing is just coming up all Elevate. 2nd segment lock. Equalizer now out from Prevail, and it's actually working out wonderfully from Trunks on the pinch. But still, so much more work to do just to maintain presence on this map.
3rd tick, being contested. Prevail, aggressive with the equalizers. Shuts down 1 through Zig. And again, it just doesn't feel like the grace of timing should equalize. Like we get a little bit forward, but you know that Elevate's going to be stacking over for A. They get the extra 60. That gives them the tick advantage as well. So at 18 plays 18, the equalizers are done, for at least for Godlike standpoint. And Elevate are still working on playing out of this position.
Yeah. It's always been the investment and the return of investment for the operators. We talked about that even on the Hacienda map. Number 1, Elevate have just been that much better. Neutrino, another war machine that, is able to find a couple of kills, but we have to start thinking about what this position might mean for us. How much more space can you deny from Elevate? You have a 3-life lead. You need to suppress him here.
Yeah, and this needs to find value because you don't want to spend the other operators knowing you're going into a round 5 offense if you can hold these last couple of moments here. So a lot of macro gameplay going to be questioned for Godlike as they're only enjoying a 2-life lead. And it doesn't even feel super confident. The middle of the map is not anywhere near there, but Prevail Trunks able to follow up and make sure that everything is counteracted beautifully. 11 plays, 6 and Elevate have to come out of spawning in.
Prevail existing inside of Art is hitting routes. No more respawns remaining for Elevate. This has surely got round 5 written all over it.
Yep. So Learn will have an operator, Aviz will have an operator, and I imagine Prevail is probably close as well. Other side of things for Elevate, Yopi, Sparrow already at the ready for him. No one else has anything charged. And Neutrino's also been able to earn himself a Hunter killer drone. So maybe a chance if he can tally a couple more kills for Apprentice. That'd be massive for the round 5 offensive attempts.
Would have been good.
Excuse me.
Yopi? Let's imagine. That would have been insane. What a Herculean conclusion that would have been, but it's not to be. But the problem still remains for Godlike. We haven't seen an offensive win, but we have seen at least Elevate being able to deny that 3rd segment coming through from Godlike. Would have been the difference if going up to kills for a round 5 offense as we look at the resources for Godlike. Need to find value in the Sparrow off the rim.
Yep. Boy, actually will be used immediately. I mean, Yopi loves to do this, where he's just blindly taking the Sparrow out, not even knowing necessarily where the hit's coming from, just to hope he can just stop it before it happens. But the problem is, he doesn't get anything with it. The Hunter killer drone shuts it down. This is possibly where it happens. Prevail stuck in a corner, doesn't know which way to look, able to still find Kennedy. That's enough for the first tick done, the second on the way very quickly. And Elevate spawning towards Laundry, have to hope these nades start to land. None of them are. So a second tick gets captured, and you may have to chalk this if you're Elevate.
Oh, you do. It's about a 2v4. The other 2 reinforcements coming through from Elevate are just way too late in the reach, or just too clean as well. But PJ in the timing inside a money window. How have you gone away with this? The Hamburglar of the 3rd segment is Elevate. Godlike back to the drawing board.
Godlike, we're already on rotation. They thought they got the 3rd tick for free.
It looked pretty good.
It was about a fraction away from being completed, but now Elevate starting to work back on their retake. Sloppy off the reload for both players. But still goes the way of Godlike for now, but the defense will restabilize, enjoy a 2-life lead, and still have a pretty convincing spread of the map.
3rd segment being depleted is crucial in this situation as well. The lives aren't even too far gone either. Godlike actually trailed by a single life, and now you have to work on this 3rd segment from scratch. Again, it is almost feels like anger coming through from Godlike, just constantly trying to throw their way towards the pool side, but now you're just spawning over there because wouldn't you know it, you got someone in your spawn.
And the problem is you have to keep flooding to get this extra 60 seconds. Kennedy only able to find the war machine. Now you've got PJ with Annihilate in the face of so much utility from Godlike. 14 plays 10. PJ is trying to hang on backside basketball. He's able to connect. The war machine gets shut down. Same breath. So does the equalizer. PJ, pop it off. 12v7. 19 seconds on the clock as this contest over towards B, but Godlike, they need this extra 60 and they cannot find a way to get back onto A.
You might need the extra 60, but you need an extra life. Trunks has to pull out the claw just to maybe try to find a little bit more value, but it's 2v11. Godlike are currently falling by the wayside. Elevate will win this round number 5 of Control, and they will go into the 1-0 club.
Oh, man. That's one of those moments again for Godlike. It's like, what is it with this darn map?
Yeah.
We were a fraction away from getting the extra 60. They're thinking objective, objective, objective. Let's see if we can quickly transition back to the top of the map. Wouldn't you know it, Elevate was waiting to retake, and they stop it before the capture comes through, find the kills they need, and then there was just never a chance for Godlike to come back after that.
The only analogy that comes to mind is that when your eyes are bigger than your actual stomach. It's so difficult to try to decipher because the late hit that inevitably came through for that pitch that stopped that 3rd segment from being captured, you can't blame Godlike because it was so mistimed, but it ended up working out perfectly.
Yeah, I mean, the thinnest of margins. So Godlike was right there, almost to possibly pull a bit of an upset over the CDSI champions. Not to be, though. The respawn just too good for Elevate to start off their first round of the Swiss, as they will move on into the 1-0 bracket.
It's just one of those things that, like, I feel like that Elevate, albeit we wanted to see more from the firing range search and destroy, we know their steps to success. It's all in the respawns. The way that they were able to manipulate and isolate so many different players and force Godlike to play so timid. And then it really came through in just how resourceful they were with their resources in response continuously. When you go back and you dissect the 2 respawns, it's going to come through with the amount of pressure that Elevate did have over Godlike just from those resources and gunnings alone.
And I think the thing about it is, you know, reflecting on the Hacienda for map 1 and then also kind of tallying up some of the results that we saw from CDSI, especially against the Chinese teams, and Hardpoint in particular, is that Elevate have not been restricted from map motion. They are running and doing whatever they want on the map. I mean, this particular matchup, Hacienda was just kind of given to them because Godlike were just not contesting the power positions that you often expect. You know, they're getting the early rotation, but they're allowing, you know, setup positions to be earned by Elevate, and eventually you give them an inch, they'll take a mile. It's kind of the same thing at the end here with round 5 of the rate control. They had so much more map control than Godlike did, and that eventually allowed them to just run away with the victory.
I think when you give so much space to Elevate, it allows their superstars to actually show up. Because again, it's not just the capability of how high they are able to go for their skill ceiling, but it's also their ability just to be able to take all that information to be able to get as many kills as we saw take from PJ.
Yeah, well, PJ had a monster matchup, 32-28 overall, and FDOT is on the main stage with our post-game reactions with PJ.
Thanks for hanging out with us. Like they said up there, we got PJ down here, but your stats were all the way up there, man. You really reached into the backpack and brought something extra. Where did you find that this early in the tournament?
I think besides the device I'm playing, it's also my gameplay. So there's only minor adjustments, but I think I did great on this series, and I'm looking forward to more.
So now you faced up against India, who really came up last year. Like specifically was a strong team. Who else in the rest of the tournament are you a little concerned about?
I'm looking forward to Galoris, LG, then the 3 China teams, Wolves, X-Rock, and Q9.
Sounds good, man. You really put together a great show so far. Good luck in your next ones. Congrats on the win.
Thank you, and please keep supporting us.
You love to hear it, folks. The friends local are doing a good job as well, getting loud. And Beef Mommy's somewhere. She's definitely got an update for us.
ഇനിയിപ്പോഴും അടുത്ത കളി ഉണ്ടാവുമോ അറിയില്ല. അറിയില്ല, ഞാൻ കണ്ടിട്ടില്ല. എവിടെയാ?
But it seems like they're having such a difficult time when it comes to that control matchup. It's 4 Magic versus Vitality, where we initially actually saw Hacienda being played 130 and 250. They were very dominating, and of course Tech leading the scoreboard over there. And when it comes to that search and destroy and takeoff, unfortunately they couldn't really get it in the bag. 8-6 going to be their score line, and when it comes to that control.
അവിടെ ഓണാക്കി വെച്ചേ. വാച്ച് പാർട്ടി ഞാൻ ഒറ്റയ്ക്ക് ഇറക്കും. ചുമ്മാ ഇന്നലെ കണ്ടിട്ട് പോയി കുറച്ച് പേര്. അത് ഓൾറെഡി ഉണ്ടല്ലോ. ഹലോ, ഒരു സെക്കൻഡ് ഇപ്പോൾ വരാം. ഒന്ന് വാഷ്റൂം പോയിട്ട് വരാം. സ്റ്റാർട്ട് ചെയ്തോ? അപ്പോഴേക്കെത്തും. സ്റ്റാർട്ട് ചെയ്തിപ്പോൾ വരാം.
Point. Hard point identified. Hard point locked. Hard point lost. Hard point contested.
Oh no. MG got it.
Hard point is ours. Hard point contested. Hostiles have captured the hard point.
വേറൊരു പ്രശ്നമാണ്. അലക്ക് കൊണ്ട് ചെയ്തിട്ട്
Hard point contested. Hostiles have the hard point. Enemy UAV spotted. We lost the lead. Enemy shock RC is coming. Be advised. advised, hostile hunter killer drone inbound. Hard point identified. Capture the objective. Hard point locked down. UAV recon ready for deployment. UAV online. SAM turret ready for deployment. SAM deployed. Hard point contested.
Enemy down.
Hard point is ours. Hard point identified. Capture the objective. Hard point lost.
Contact.
Hostiles have the hard point. Hard point contested. Hard point locked down.
Tango down.
We've taken the lead. UAV online. Heads up, team. Enemy UAV spotted. Hard point is ours. Hard point identified. Capture the objective. Capture the objective. Hostiles have captured the hard point. Hostiles have the hard point.
How many people do
UAV online.
Oh man.
Enemy UAV spotted. Lost the lead. Heads up. Enemy UAV spotted. Hostile hunter killer drone inbound. Capture. UAV online.
Oh, വെട്ടിക്കൊന്നു. എനിക്ക് മൂവ് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റുന്നില്ല, കളിക്കുക തോർച്ചൂടെ.
Hard point locked down. Hard point contested. Hard point lost.
Oh man.
I'm salty buffode അബദ്ധം.
Enemy shock RC is coming. Heads up, team. Enemy UAV spotted. UAV online. Hard point contested. Hostiles have the hard point.
ഇത്രയും പേര് ബാക്കിലുണ്ടാവും, ഞാൻ അവിടെ നോക്കിയില്ല.
Hostile hunter killer drone inbound.
എനിക്കാണെങ്കിൽ മൂവ് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റുന്നില്ല.
Contested. Hard point lost.
സോറി, ഇത്രയും കംപ്ലൈനിങ് ചെയ്യാറുണ്ടായിരുന്നു, പക്ഷേ
Hard point locked down.
ആ ചുമ്മാ
UAV recon standing by. Repeat. UAV recon is standing by. Capture the capture the objective. Hard point contested. Hostiles have the hard point. We lost the lead. Hardpoint is ours. Hardpoint contested. UAV spotted.
Hardpoint കേറാൻ എത്ര മടി?
Lockdown. Hardpoint contested. Recon ready for deployment. UAV online.
കേറ്. പക്ഷെ 18 സെക്കൻഡ് ആരും കേറുന്നില്ല.
SAM deployed.
ഇങ്ങനെ പുറത്തുനിന്ന് അടിച്ചാൽ എങ്ങനെ ചെയ്യും?
Is ours.
ഞാൻ പുറത്തുനിന്ന് അടിക്കുകയല്ല, ഞാൻ
Hardpoint
അടിക്കുകയായിരുന്നു.
contested. Hardpoint lost.
ഇത്രയും നേരം ഹോൾഡ് ചെയ്ത്.
Friendly Predator missile inbound.
Predator പോയി. ഇവരൊക്കെ റൂമിന്റെ
Capture the objective.
Changing mag.
Bring it up, squad.
Tango down.
UAV online.
കഴിഞ്ഞില്ലേ? മതിയായി.
Enemy SAM detected.
കേറാനും
Hostile care package inbound. Enemy shock
കേറ്
RC.
പറഞ്ഞ. ആ ഇതന്നെ ഞാനും പറയുന്നത്. ആരും കേറുന്നില്ല.
Hostile hunter killer drone
മതിയായി.
inbound.
എനിക്കാണെങ്കിൽ മൂവ് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റുന്നില്ല.
മതി. ഞാൻ
Priority tasking failure. Return to base.
ഞാനാണെങ്കിൽ വാഷിംഗ് പൗഡർ മറ്റേ സാധനമൊക്കെ എടുത്ത് എനിക്കാണെങ്കിൽ മൂവ് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റുന്നില്ല. കൈ സ്റ്റക്കാണ് സ്ക്രീനിൽ. നോക്ക് ഒരാളും കേറിയിട്ടില്ല. ഒരാൾ പോലും ഒരു മിനിറ്റ് വരെ ഇരുന്നിട്ട് എന്ത് ചെയ്യാനാ ഒറ്റയ്ക്ക് ഇരുന്നിട്ട്.
ഞാൻ ഹോൾഡ് ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ട്. എല്ലാം കൂടെ പറ്റൂല. അത്രയും ഇരുന്ന് നിന്നിട്ട് ഇവന്മാരെ നോക്കുമ്പോ അത് 3 ഒക്കെ അതൊക്കെ എന്താ?
ഞാൻ എന്തായാലും സ്ക്രീൻ
എനിക്ക് ക്യാപ്ചർ കിട്ടിയിട്ടുണ്ട്.
സ്റ്റാർട്ട് ചെയ്യല്ലേ, ഒന്നും കളിക്കാൻ പറ്റില്ല. തിരക്ക് കൂട്ടണ്ടേ?
അറിയാതെ തട്ടി കഴിയും. അറിയാതെ തട്ടിപ്പോ ഞാൻ റെഡിയാന്ന് വിചാരിച്ചിട്ടില്ല മത്തിയത്. ലൈവ് ഒന്ന് ഓഫ് ചെയ്യും. ലൈവ്
ഇന്നും ലൈവ് ഇടുന്നില്ലല്ലോ, ലീവ് ആയതുകൊണ്ടിട്ടല്ലേ. എന്തായാലും റെക്കോർഡ് ചെയ്യണം. പബ്ലിക് മാറ്റി അൺലിസ്റ്റഡ് ആക്കി. എത്ര സേവ്. ഓക്കെ സെറ്റ്.
കിടന്ന് കീറി വിളിക്കുന്ന
ഇത്ര പെട്ടെന്ന് കിട്ടണ്ടേ? എനിക്ക് കൈയൊന്ന് സെറ്റാക്കാൻ സമയം എന്താ? എന്ത് കളിയാണത്? ഇല്ലാത്തപ്പം തരുകയില്ലല്ലോ. അതേ ടീം തന്നെ അപ്പുറത്ത്.
Hard point. Hard point identified. Hard point locked down. Hostiles have captured the hard point. Hard point is ours. Hostiles have the hard point.
salty.
Enemy
വെട്ടിക്കൊല്ലാണോ
It's up team. Enemy UAV spotted. Destroyed enemy's UAV. Destroyed enemy's UAV.
സ്പോൺ മാറി.
Hardpoint contested. Hostile. Capture the hardpoint.
ഒരുത്തൻ ഇവിടെ നിൽക്കുമ്പോ അപ്പുറത്ത് വേറെ ഒരുത്തൻ.
അവര് കേറൊന്നുമില്ല, നമ്മളെ കേറ്റുന്നുമില്ല.
Hardpoint identified. Capture the objective. Heads up. UAV spotted. Hardpoint lost. UAV online.
ന്യൂക്കടിക്കാനുള്ള കളിയാട്ടാ.
Hardpoint is ours.
കളിക്കാൻ പറ്റുന്നില്ല.
ആരോ മേലെ വരും.
ഞാനവിടെ ഇല്ല, കളിക്കാൻ പറ്റുന്നില്ല.
We've taken the lead.
Tango down.
Back in the equalizer.
Hardpoint contested. Hardpoint identified. UAV online.
already holded.
Hostiles have the hardpoint.
ഇതൊക്കെ ഏത് ലെവൽ ക്യാമ്പർ?
Enemy UAV spotted. Hardpoint locked down.
എത്ര പേരാ മേലെ നിന്ന് താഴേക്ക് ഇറങ്ങി വന്നത്?
Shock RC is coming. Hardpoint lost. Hostiles have the hardpoint. Enemy SAM detected. We lost the lead. Enemy's advanced UAV is online. Hardpoint identified. Capture the objective. Heads up. Enemy UAV spotted. Destroy enemy SAM turret.
Target down.
Enemy UAV spotted. Hostiles have captured the hardpoint. Heads up. Enemy UAV spotted. Hostile hunter-killer drone inbound. Hardpoint is ours. UAV online.
ഞാൻ അടുത്തേക്ക് പോവാം, അവിടെ ഇരുന്ന് നോക്കാം.
പ്രത്യേകിച്ച് കളിക്കാനും പറ്റില്ല. ഞാൻ പിന്നെ
അവിടെ ഇരുന്ന് അടുത്തേക്ക് പോട്ടെ, അവിടെ സെറ്റ് ചെയ്തെന്ന് തോന്നുന്നു.
അവിടെ തന്നെ ഉണ്ട്.
Hardpoint identified. Capture the objective. Capture the objective. Capture the objective. Enemy Shock RC is coming. Hardpoint lost. Hostiles have the hardpoint. Lost the lead. Heads up team. Enemy UAV spotted. Heads up. Enemy UAV spotted. Heads up team. Enemy UAV spotted. Destroyed enemy's UAV. Destroyed enemy's UAV. Enemy Shock RC is coming. Be advised, hostile hunter-killer drone inbound.
എന്താണ് ബാക്ക് നോക്കാൻ ഇടയ്ക്ക് എനിക്ക് മനസ്സിലാവുന്നില്ല.
Lost the lead. Hostile hunter-killer drone inbound.
ആരോട് പറയാനാ?
തന്നെയാണ് ബാക്ക് നോക്കാൻ വിളിക്കുന്നത്.
അവിടെ നിന്നൊക്കെ അവര് വരുന്നത് ബാക്ക് നോക്കാണ്ട് നോക്കിയാലും അത് വിചാരിച്ചിട്ട് ഞാൻ ബാക്ക് നോക്കായിട്ട്.
Hardpoint lost. Enemy UAV spotted. Enemy SAM detected. Hardpoint locked down.
മെഷീൻ പിസ്റ്റൾ കൊണ്ട് എന്ത് കളിയാണ്?
Enemy Shock RC is coming. Enemy's advanced UAV is online. Heads up. Enemy UAV spotted. Hostiles have captured the
Target down.
hardpoint is ours. Hardpoint locked down. Capture the objective. Capture the objective. Capture the objective. Hardpoint is ours. Enemy airstrike incoming. Be careful. Heads up, team. Enemy UAV spotted. Hardpoint contested. Hostile hunter. Hardpoint contested. Hardpoint contested. UAV online.
ബാക്കിലിരുന്ന് കളിക്കുക.
Hardpoint contested. Hardpoint lost. Friendly care package inbound. Capture the objective.
നിക്കോളാസ് അടുത്ത് വരുന്നുണ്ട്.
Our gunship is in the air. Hostiles have captured the hardpoint. Hardpoint locked down. Hardpoint lost.
എനിക്ക് മൂവ് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റുന്നില്ല.
Defeated. Don't let this happen again.
കേറാത്ത കുറെ നാറികൾ എപ്പോഴും ഉണ്ട്.
സ്റ്റാർട്ട് ചെയ്യല്ലേ? എനിക്കൊന്നും മൂവ് ചെയ്യാൻ പോലും പറ്റുന്നില്ല. ഞാൻ അവിടെ പോയിട്ട് എന്ത് ചെയ്യാനാണ്?
ചൈനീസിൽ എഴുതി കാട്ടുന്നതാണോ?
എന്താണ് അവിടെ ഗോറ്റ് വെക്കുവയർ? ഇന്നോട്ടല്ലേ? UTC എപ്പോഴാ?
the jump leader. Good luck. Welcome to Alcatraz. The match is about to start. First blood.
You got some intel. Sound
വേറെ ആർക്കും കിട്ടിയിട്ടുണ്ടാവും. കാട്ടുന്നുണ്ട് പി 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 എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ ചാടി
Deployed. Circle complete.
എവിടേക്കെന്നെ വരുമോ? ഇങ്ങനെ പറ്റും.
കയറിയിട്ടുണ്ട് തൽക്കാലം. ആരോ ചാടിയിട്ടുണ്ട്.
Your teammate has been killed.
എന്താണ്
You are the jump leader. Good luck.
टाइम काटाते हैं 43 സെക്കൻഡ് ഫസ്റ്റ് ഡേ അല്ലേ ഓ ഇല്ല എണ്ണ കോരി കഴിച്ചിട്ടുണ്ട് വേറെ എന്ത് ചെയ്യാനാ
Find the hacker nearby, quickly. System hacked. Welcome to Alcatraz. The match is about to start. System online.
ബാക്കിലുണ്ട്
Skill just ready for upgrade.
കൈനറ്റിക് വേണോ
രണ്ടെണ്ണം
പിന്നെയും
Enemy is near.
ആരൊക്കെ ചാടി സലാസിലേക്ക് ഇവിടെ ആളുണ്ട്
Circle collapse.
ദ്രാവ് വേണോ
വേണ്ട കുഴപ്പമില്ല
ഇവിടെ ബാക്കിൽ
മേളും താഴേക്ക് അടയുന്നു ഇവിടെ ബോംബിട്ടിട്ടുണ്ട്
Trap deployed.
Engaging the enemies.
Trap deployed.
വന്ന് തട്ടിക്കളഞ്ഞതേ ഇടക്കിക്കൊണ്ടിരിക്കുമ്പോൾ നമുക്ക് ഹീൽ ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റൂല മാറി.
Your teammate has been killed. Further collapse expected. Travel to indicated safe zone. Only 2 teams left. Getting close to victory. Trap deployed. Net call. Supply drop incoming. Your teammate has been killed. Airdrop has been delivered. Trap deployed. Supply drop inbound. Circle collapse imminent. Get to safety. Your teammate has been killed.
ആള് കളിക്കുന്ന കളി കൈ ശരിയായല്ല
കൈ ഫുൾ എണ്ണ തേച്ചിരിക്കുക സ്ക്രീനിന്റെ മേലെ. വേറെ ഗെയിമിലാണ് ഗ്യാസ്പർ. ആർക്കും ചാമ്പ്യൻഷിപ്പ് കാണണ്ട. ഇപ്പൊ വൂൾസും ഗാലറീസും ശരി.
Welcome to Alcatraz. The match is about to start. First blood. Further collapse expected. Travel to indicated safe zone. Circle collapse imminent. Get to safety. Location exposed.
Engaging the enemy. Enemy eliminated.
Voidwalker activated. Further collapse expected. Travel to indicated safe zone.
ഡ്രോപ്പ് വന്നിട്ടുണ്ടോ? ഇതാരാ ലൈവിലുള്ളത്? ലൈവിലുള്ളവരോടൊന്ന് സ്ട്രീം ചെയ്യുന്നത് അങ്ങനെ കാണാൻ വഴിയില്ലല്ലോ. മറ്റേ ഇതായിരിക്കും, ലിങ്ക് അയച്ചിട്ടുണ്ടായിരുന്നു.
Circle collapse imminent. Get to safety.
വരാൻ പറ്റുമോ? എന്തെങ്കിലും ബ്രേക്ക് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റുമോ?
Move here to get armor. Half the teams are eliminated. Down to the last.
അതിന്റെ മേലെ ഇരിക്കുക 2 പേര്. ഞാൻ ഡ്രോപ്പിലാണെങ്കിൽ ആലോചിക്കുക.
Move here to get armor.
റിവ്യൂ ഫ്ലൈറ്റ് ഉണ്ടല്ലോ ഇനിയും.
Net call. Supply drop incoming.
കാവിയ ഗോഡ്. ഞാനാണെങ്കിൽ ട്രാപ്പായിരിക്കാണല്ലോ.
Move here to get armor. Airdrop has been supply drop inbound. Your teammate has been killed. Circle collapse imminent. Get to safety. Airdrop has been delivered.
വന്നിട്ട് കാര്യം. താഴേക്ക് പോകണമെന്നൊക്കെ ആഗ്രഹമുണ്ട്. ഫൈനൽ ഫ്ലൈറ്റ് വരുകയും ചെയ്തു. ഇപ്പൊ എല്ലാം എന്റെ മേത്ത് വന്ന് ഇറങ്ങും. അതാ പ്രശ്നം.
Supply drop incoming.
Yeah.
Net call. Supply drop incoming. Airdrop has been delivered.
അവിടെ തന്നെ നേരെ വേറെ സ്ഥലമില്ല. നേടുണ്ടോ? നേരെ അതിനടുത്ത് ക്ലോസ് ചെയ്യും. മുന്നോട്ട് നോക്ക്. അവിടെ ഡ്രോപ്പിൻ്റെ അടുത്ത് അവിടെ ഇരിക്കുന്ന തൊട്ട് താഴെ ആരോ എഴുതുന്നുണ്ട് ബിൽഡിങ്ങിന്റെ മേലെ.
Airdrop has been delivered.
അവൻ കണ്ടിട്ടൊന്നുമില്ല. ടാക്ടിക്സ് ആണത്. പൂഴിക്കിടക്കാൻ. ഞാനിപ്പോൾ അടുത്ത ഡ്രോപ്പ് എടുക്കാൻ പോകും. അവിടെ നിന്ന് സഹിക്കട്ട്. എന്നാ ഇറങ്ങി അടിക്ക്. കളി ഇഷ്ടമല്ല, ഇറങ്ങി അടിക്കാനും പറ്റില്ല. എല്ലാരും ഓരോ ഡ്രോപ്പിന്റെ പുറകിൽ ഇരിക്കണ്ട്. അവിടെ നിന്ന് മാറി അപ്പുറത്തേക്ക് പോയി. ഗോസ്റ്റിനൊക്കെ ഞാൻ തന്നെ 4 പ്രാവശ്യം കൊന്നല്ലോ, എന്നിട്ട് അവന് ലൈഫ് ഉണ്ടോ ബാക്കി? റെയിലിങ്ങിന്റെ മേലൊക്കെ അടിക്കല്ലേ. വെയിറ്റ് റെയിലിങ്ങിന്റെ മേലൊക്കെ ഇരുന്നു. ചാടണ്ട, താഴേക്ക് ചാടണ്ട. ഓ, വീട്ടിന്റെ മേലൊക്കെ ഇറങ്ങും. ആ, ഓക്കെ കളി കഴിഞ്ഞു. എത്ര ഉണ്ടോ? കരഞ്ഞിട്ട് കഴിയില്ല, അടിക്കണം. താഴേക്ക് റീലോഡ് അടിക്കും.
അങ്ങോട്ടും ഇങ്ങോട്ടും അടിച്ചു കളിക്കായിരുന്നു.
ട്രാപ്പ് അടിച്ചിട്ട് അവന്മാര് പെട്ടുപോയതാ. അയ്യോ കോമഡി കളിയായിരുന്നു. ആരും ഇല്ലപ്പോ ലൈവ് 2 വ്യൂ കാട്ടുന്നുണ്ടല്ലോ. ആരായാലും ലൈക്ക് ചെയ്തോ, ചുമ്മാ ഒരു ഹരയൊക്കെ പറയേ. കണ്ടിട്ട് സീഗോടെ പിന്നെ അപ്പുറത്ത് ഞാൻ MG42 എടുത്താലും എന്താ പറയുന്നത്?
Capture the objectives. Enemy taking Alpha. Enemy has A.
ഓ, റൈറ്റിലെടുത്ത്. ആ, അതന്നെ സീഗോഡ്.
We captured B.
ഓ, ഇവനോടെ നിൽക്കുക സീഗോഡ്.
3x ആയാണോ എന്തൊരു സാധനം? ആ, ബാക്കിൽ മേലെ, അതിന്റെ മേലെ.
Losing Bravo. Is standing by. We're capturing Alpha. UAV online. You've taken the lead.
അബദ്ധം. ഈ കളിയൊന്നും കാര്യം കാണണ്ട.
We're capturing.
Seagull നല്ല ടോക്സിക് ആണല്ലോ.
ആരും ആ സാധനം അറിയുന്നു.
Seagull തന്നെ.
Losing C.
Oh.
താരെ ഇത്ര പുഷ് ചെയ്യുന്നേ?
അറിഞ്ഞോളൂ.
We've taken the lead. Heads up. UAV spotted. We're capturing Bravo. UAV recon ready for deployment. It's too close. Fight harder. Hurt him. Fighting.
രണ്ട് സൈഡിൽ നിന്ന് വന്നിരിക്കുക.
മിസ്റ്റർ ഡോണോ ക്യാമ്പിംഗ് ആൻഡ് സ്നൈപ്പിംഗ്.
Pick it up, team. Lost the lead. SAM turret ready for deployment. UAV online. Tied for the lead.
അനേരായിട്ട് അടിച്ച പട്ടി.
Enemy UAV spotted. Lost B. UAV recon is standing by. Repeat, UAV recon is standing by. Nice work. Get ready for the next round. Capture the objectives. We're capturing A. Enemy taking Charlie. SAM turret ready for deployment. Enemy taking Bravo. Enemy SAM detected.
ഛേ.
SAM deployed. Enemy has Bravo. Heads up. UAV spotted. Destroyed enemy's UAV.
എത്ര പേരെ അടിക്കുക?
Destroy enemy's hunter. UAV recon ready for deployment. Lost the lead.
ഒരാള് ബി എടുത്തൂടെ ഞാൻ എത്ര മണിക്ക് അടിച്ചു?
UAV online. Our UAV has been destroyed. Friendly Predator missile inbound.
ഞാൻ ഹോൾഡ് ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ട്. അവരെഴുതട്ടെ ഫുൾ ടൈം.
Losing B.
എവിടുന്നാ വരുന്നേ? മനസ്സിലാവുന്നില്ല.
Hostile care package inbound. Friendly care package inbound.
രണ്ടുപേര്.
അത് ചാവൂലാന്ന് ഈ സാധനം.
സീഗോട് പിന്നെ ഇരിക്കാൻ തുടങ്ങി അതിന്റെ മേലെ.
Heads up. The enemy has deployed chopper gunner. Heads up, team. Enemy UAV spotted. We've taken the lead.
കണ്ടിട്ടില്ലല്ലോ.
Lost Bravo. Enemy chopper gunner destroyed.
ഓ അതെവിടുന്നാ വന്നേ? ഓ അതിന്റെ മേലെ ചാടി വന്ന.
Hostile hunter killer drone inbound.
കുഴപ്പമില്ല അവൻ്റെ അടുത്തുണ്ട്.
We lost the lead.
ഇതിനായി വിളിച്ചു പറയേണ്ട ആവശ്യമൊന്നും എനിക്കറിയാതെ തോന്നലാണ്. എനിക്ക് തോന്നി അതിന്റെ ബാക്കിൽ ഇരിക്കുകയായിരിക്കും നമുക്ക്.
We're failing this mission. Heads up. The enemy has deployed chopper gunner. We lost the
ട്രോഫി
lead.
ഇട്ടുന്നുണ്ട് അത്രേ എനിക്ക് പറ്റുള്ളൂ.
Our sentry gun. UAV online. CODM detected. Enemy chopper gunner destroyed. Our UAV has been destroyed. Hostile predator missile inbound.
അയ്യോ അബദ്ധം കളിയായിരുന്നു.
എന്താണോ നമുക്ക് കുറേ സെയിം
Priority tasking failure. Return to base.
എപ്പോഴും സെയിം ആൾക്കാർക്കാണ് നിങ്ങളുടെ ക്യാപ്ചർ ഒക്കെയാണ്
ഇതൊക്കെ ലെജൻഡ് ലീഡർ ബോർഡാണല്ലോ എല്ലാവരും അപ്പുറത്തുള്ളത്.
അതാ ഞാൻ പറയുന്നത് എന്തിനോ
കറക്കി നോക്കട്ടെ എന്തെങ്കിലും കിട്ടുമോ നോക്കട്ടെ. ഒരു റാങ്ക് ഡംപ് ജയിച്ചിട്ടില്ല ഇന്ന്. അയ്യോ
ഒന്നും കേൾക്കില്ലല്ലോ എന്ത് ചെയ്യണം
ആളുകളൊക്കെ അന്നേരം സുഖമില്ല. എക്സ്ചേഞ്ച് സ്റ്റോർ ഹൗസിൽ പോയിട്ട് ഒന്ന് എക്സ്ചേഞ്ച് ചെയ്യാണ്ട് ഇത്രേ ഉള്ളൂ കാര്യം. ക്യാരക്ടർ കിട്ടട്ടെ. കിട്ടിയില്ല ബത്തായി. സ്ട്രീമർ മുടക്കിട്ട് ഒന്ന് ചെക്ക് ചെയ്യുന്ന ആൾക്കാരെ ബത്താണ്. ഇതെന്തായി നോക്കട്ടെ, നമുക്ക് ലൈവ് സ്ട്രീം എന്തായി നോക്കാം.
Mihawk finds two, Pazzo will find one, and all of a sudden the floodgates are starting to open. Sai will find two before going down with the War Machine. But an opportunity now for Gallerus, 9v8, 30 seconds to go.
Yeah, they've got through for a look at the very least. As you said, 30 seconds on the board here. Henry Cat going to get that Sparrow out. Is it going to be good enough? Potential flanking play. It will be a little bit late from Pabzera. Never mind. On the other side, there's a bit of a better Sparrow. It's X-King. Doesn't matter if it's with the R9 or the Sparrow. He is going to 3Ks, these 4Ks, it wipes out Gallerus, and now they are reliant on some kind of value from this flank from Pabzera, especially as the rest of them are going down. Pabzera will pick up one of those kills, but there's the shutdown coming through. Can anybody through the front line get through from Gallerus? No is the answer. I would say what a round from Wars, but I want to say what a round from X-King.
Found those moments when he needed to. 11 in the round from him. And I think that's just the difference maker, isn't it? Made sure they invested those moments very, very well in terms of the operators. We've seen that come out, and of course, we've seen the R9 as well from X-King when he picked up 4. And that was the moment where it looked like Gallerus were maybe able to find it. But all things considered, not a terrible attacking round from Gallerus whatsoever. Can they have an effective defensive side here as well? They've given up B pretty much immediately and will be investing nearly everything over towards the A side. See the pressure coming in here, though. When you do give up this side of the map, it has allowed some routes to be developed by... They found kills from it. Spawn trap potentially on the cards here. Really good routes and start to the round from Wolves Esports. They really have picked Gallerus back already.
Aggressive, ready for it. Couple of kills with the equalizers. How much more damage can Peg do? We'll get cut short before any more can be done. But that's okay. You've given some kind of map control for Wars, and if he didn't do enough, Sally is now doing more. Neon, investment of the claw. They want this spawn trap.
Oh, I mean, they've got them just right where they want them now. The spawn trap is there. The operators are out, and this round may well be done. There is only one kill on the side of Colores, make it 2, as they eventually start to try and get something going, but King's starting to line them up 4 in a row from him. It's just far too easy for Wolves Esports. They run through the grab B, they get a hold of the spawn trap, and they say, yeah, we'll just have the round on top of it. That was far too easy. Galris fumbling that one massively. Wolves do everything right.
You know, I'm starting to feel that difference between Eastern and Western teams here on Seaside Controlled, and Wolves just looking better at the moment, frankly. And look at the streaks now they've got across